no, you're not hallucinating. This episode of A Slice of Gaming podcast is totally on its normal time. But either way, we'd still like to thank you for taking a slice of your time to listen to A Slice of Gaming podcast. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, rest in peace, and Audible. And you also be sure to check out our sister channel, A Slice of Anime, posting every other week. So we got a lot of news this week. The big one being the Game Awards nominations that we're going to go over, and a bunch of other news that I'm sure Wolf will gladly cover for us. But we got to list off our nominees for A Slice of Gaming podcast. So, nominated for Best Bad Takes, it's Bench.
Wow, I can't believe you'd really go that far. Happy to be here, I guess.
Nominated for Biggest GTA Simp, it's Wolf.
Baby, and I'm winning.
And nominated for Biggest PC Trader, it's Fusion.
That's messed up. I might be the reason this podcast is late. No one knows. That's not on record. That's all I'm saying.
So yeah, let's just turn it on over to news with Wolf because we got a lot to go through. It's going to be a long one, folks, most likely.
Yeah, we're gonna be having a lot of fun this episode. It's time for our Game Awards predictions episode. I'm extremely excited. I'll first start off kind of just asking you guys right off the bat, like your anticipation for the Game Awards, like your thoughts on the award show, what Keely's doing. Fusion, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I love TGA every year. I'm one of the Jeff Keighley simps that like think he can do no wrong. Obviously he can do wrong, but like I think he gets a lot of crap for what he puts out every week. I mean every year. Like I think it gets better every year. I think he takes feedback very well. So like every year I get slightly more excited. I am not sure what we're going to see this year, but if GTA shows up, that's all that matters. If GTA 6 is there, if Keighley has it,
Not
we
happening.
win.
It's
We win.
not happening. Bench, what about you?
I am also a Jeff Keighley simp. I really just the hype he brings and the hype he creates is always just it always like puts you to a new high in the December and summer time of the year. I also think he can do no wrong. Sure, there may be some issues with the way she does the show, but I mean it's just a fun time to hang out with friends, get some nice like pizza or whatever, and watch the Game Awards. And like honestly, I'm one of the weird people that think it should be longer. I was sad whenever they made it shorter. Actually, I actually thought it was a bad decision overall, and I needed it to be longer because I just enjoy the Game Awards. It's always fun. I mean, I liked Chris Judge's like 10-minute long speech last year. I thought that was very cool. I don't know. I just love the Game Awards and Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, I mean, like what you said there. Like, I'm always surprised by a lot of the hate that the Game Awards gets in terms of like, because at the end of the day, like, these aren't the end all be all awards. These are very much just like have fun with them. Like, just go get some wings, hang out with friends, watch the Game Awards. Like, it really isn't that serious. And if people may think like, whoa, if it's so seriously, then why are you like doing nominations? Why are you treating it so? Because it's fun. We like doing nominations.
It's just fun to talk about.
Exactly. Moon, what about you? How do you feel about Game Awards?
I mean, I don't mind the Game Awards. I'm not some like Jeff Keighley said, but I think they're just like a fun time and they're a great like point of just talking about like the best games of the year for whatever such and such reasons. I like the talking points more than the actual event itself. Now, I don't mind it being longer or shorter. It just depends like what it's actually filled with. Like if you're obviously gonna have a bunch of like weird, boring filler, obviously I don't want it longer, but I don't mind if it's longer if there's something actually good coming out of it. I do think it's kind of annoying. Some categories are being relegated to Jeff comes back from commercial. It's like, and the winner for best mobile game is, and then he just moves on to the next skit or commercial that he has to do. So like that's annoying, but I definitely appreciate the quicker time of it if it's just more condensed better.
That's kind of the big problem is that people really want reveals and they also want the awards.
Oh, yeah,
and it always kind of yeah, exactly. It's just like a tough like give and take situation where if he spends all that time on the awards, then everyone's going to be mad. Like, where's the reveals? It's a weird situation. I would like some of these categories to not be rushed over because, like, especially like we'll talk about it. Esports always feels like he just rushes through them because it's like, okay, it seems like no one cares.
Because that only appeals to like a very minority of a minority. So that makes sense for the rushing through. But there was a 1 year I thought it was really weird. I thought it was like I think it was art direction was skipped over. I'm like, oh, that's a big one. You should have done a proper presentation for that one.
For sure. No, that's definitely one of my bigger issues with the Game Awards, and I hope he gets better about that. It kind of allows those like categories to breathe. Like if it means we get a longer show because of that, I'm fine with it because I want these developers to go up, accept their award, give their speeches that they all deserve. Maybe I mean, listen, Bench. I know you say you don't mind Christopher Judge's speech. Maybe there should be a little bit of a time limit because that shit was way too long.
We log into 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Like let Ben Starr and come out and just have that kind of speech.
Oh, he's already penciling in.
Yeah.
But
yeah, bro,
I
pencil
will
to the
say
good.
on the going through topics quickly, something he does. I'm pretty sure it was last year. He directly responded to someone saying every year they try to switch certain awards up. So like maybe last year art direction was not presented on stage, so this year it should be. Like he goes by because you obviously can't do all 31 categories on the stage. That's like a 7-hour show.
Yeah.
So he's trying to. I remember him responding to someone saying every year they look at the games and look at the awards and they try to balance what's going to be on stage that year. So I think he tries to be like, at least like say art direction wasn't on stage last year, it should be on stage this year. I think he at least tries to alternate those type of categories where to like find a balance. So like every year mobile game doesn't get snubbed to like being on this like Jeff Keighley by himself over to the stands to the right.
Well, I hope it does
mean,
get
there's-
snubbed over because mobile game is usually the weird.
Oh, yeah,
Unless
mobile
Hello
game will
Kitty
probably-
wins, then I want that on stage.
No, I think it really comes down to it. At the very least, like I want like more of those awards where maybe Jeff is like saying it on the stands, but the developer is at least there to like accept the award, like and give like a quick like 1-minute speech. Like, yeah, sure, I agree. Not every award can be like right on the big boy stage, but I also think like some of these devs I feel like want to accept their award and give just like a quick 1 to 2 minute speech or
And
something.
it's weird. I'm because they always do the pre-show now. Isn't there some awards in the pre-show? Like
Yeah,
some
there's
of the
a
awards
good
get
amount.
announced in the
Yep.
pre-show.
You'd be shocked.
I
There
think-
is a good amount.
Okay.
Even like decent reveals are in the pre-show. Remember,
I know the
Street
pre-show was
Yeah.
good
Fighter
last year.
Remember,
Street Fighter
Balan's
6's
Wonderworld was
release
shown off
date.
in the pre-show.
Dead Cell's
Street
Return to
Fighter 6's
Castlevania
date.
pre-show.
Yeah.
Like
It's
Kyle
so-
Bosman
It's
always
like
does it.
full
though.
release trailer.
That's all that matters.
So
Yeah, God bless
Yeah.
Kyle Bossman. I'm glad he's there.
All right,
I
so
think
should
we wanna
move
get
on to
into
the
it.
nominees.
Yeah, I was about to say we got a lot of nominees to go through. So I did say we're gonna have like a big prediction special, kind of predict like what the category, like who's gonna win each category. Not what we want to win. We can mention what we want to win, but more so like what we're predicting to win, what we think the critics will actually like vote for in these categories. As we go throughout all of the categories, and I'll record them, and then when Game Awards happens, we'll tally them up, see who wins, and then whoever wins gets bragging rights. I guess I don't know. Maybe we
Are
can
we
do like a
predicting now?
prize. Yeah,
We're
we'll
predicting now?
predict now. But
Okay.
before we get into it, there's we're gonna skip predicting on the esports categories and content creator. But if they would, Fusion, you're into esports. Like, do you have any thoughts on any of the esports categories? Like, there's one topic specifically I wanted to bring up in regards to esports.
No, that's the sad part. I'm very into esports, and there's still a lot of these players I do not know. So I can't ever give credit to some of these guys because I just don't know them.
I went on my esports rant a long time ago, so you all know my opinion on esports. I do. I will say, esports event that should go to Evo, but because I vote for it every year and it never wins, so God bless.
It'll be Valorant.
There was, it always is, and it's stupid. There was a bit of controversy, not controversy, but like kind of a weird thing where esports coach, one of the coaches that were nominated, came out on Twitter and straight up said like, yeah, I wasn't a coach at all this year. Like I don't know why I'm even on the ballot, and it kind of brings in a question: is like, are the esports categories an afterthought for the people voting? Because it really feels
Most
like that some
likely.
years.
Because we're talking, the people who are voting in this are critics, so I'm gonna guess a very small percentage of them pay attention to esports, at least enough to know like player names and coach names. So the fact that they just can pull up like who do I know? Like what are the few names I know? It's like, okay, I'll nominate them.
I feel like if you're gonna have the esports categories, maybe have like a separate jury of like esports like judges, like people who are actually like very into the esports, like the Score Esports. I know they're a very big YouTube channel. Like maybe try to get them involved in that regard and have them vote for that. That way you get a better like handling, because it's clear like you look at the esports coach, like the best esports coach. Even people I follow who know esports always look at them and they're like, I have no idea who any of these people are. And it's always unfortunate because it's like, man, I mean, shout outs to them, I guess. And content creator, this is the only category that makes me feel like a number, guys. Like this is the closest I feel to getting old. I know 3 of the content creators though. That's a better record than usual. So
I know one. No, this
Yeah,
always happens also
I
with
also
like
only know one.
YouTube Rewind, and anytime like there's like a big YouTuber celebration, I'm like, I don't know any of these people.
yeah.
And I haven't known
I've
any of the
heard
big
of
ones
2 of
since like
them.
2008 or 9 or something.
I've heard of
Wait.
2 of them, and yeah.
Wait. Which ones do we know? Because I know Iron Mouse, Quackity, and People Make Games.
I
I
know of Iron Mouse. I've seen like clips of her, and that's about it.
I've known of Iron Mouse and Cypher PK.
Cypher PK is the only one I know. So
Oh my god, you guys are. Who is Cypher PK? You guys are made him
He
up.
was-
Fortnite person.
yeah, he was big in Fortnite, but before Fortnite, he was like Call of Duty and like
Gotcha.
He's one of those gamers. The ones that,
Yeah.
that Twitch says that gaming
Food
is
bros.
dead.
he used to
And,
play with like Ninja a lot and like all of like his group
gotcha.
was like that group, like Ninja and that group, like he came from there.
I mean,
Honestly, it's weirdly like all my shorts on YouTube right now are just Cypher PK, and I don't know why. So
I'm rooting for Iron Mouse because she's like I don't like VTubers, but like she seems really nice and she seems like a chill person. So I'm like, okay, go ahead and win that.
Yeah, it's
but
like why not?
that's
Give it to the cute girl who's just like making funny content. Like why not?
exactly. Yeah. But
It'd also be
I think we
interesting to
gotta
see her like accept the award because she can't go anywhere in person.
yeah. Maybe Jeff just like fucking cyber delivers it hey, like live on stage.
That's what's going to happen. You called it actually.
No, she's gonna be it's gonna be one of the off stage ones. Be like, and your best content creator is Iron Mouse, and then like, okay, cool, thanks. Next, moving
Wait,
on.
is she the little digital thing? Like she like that little character?
My man said the digital thing.
You
You
know
don't
what
know
I'm
what a
trying
Yeah, she's the
VTuber is?
VTuber.
A VTuber. Yeah, that's what I meant. Wow. Okay.
But yeah, if you don't know, Iron Mouse has like some autoimmune disease or something where she can't really leave her house due to being risk of getting sick. So she is confined to her house.
Yeah, so it would be cool
Oh,
to see her
interesting.
win if she does one, just for that. And also because she makes good content. I'm not into VTubers, but she seems like a respectable person. Anyways, let's get into the predictions. We're gonna start with most anticipated. Again, not what we want to win. We could say what we want to win, but what we predict to win. So for most anticipated, the nominees are FF7 Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaw, and GTA 6. No, it's not GTA 6. Tekken 8. Should be GTA
Rebirth.
6.
What's Tekken 8 doing on this list? That's all I
I know, that's
Okay, buddy,
That's what I
that's
said.
That's what I voted for. Fuck you guys.
No, I'm kidding.
Um,
I think
Rebirth is
My
gonna win.
prediction is probably either Hades 2 because of the critic circle that is voting here, and since they all voted for Hades to win, they probably are all a bunch of big Hades fans. I could also see Final Fantasy VII Rebirth squeaking it, but I don't see Tekken 8 or Star Wars Outlaws winning. Like a Dragon could be like the dark horse, but it's most likely between Hades 2 and Final Fantasy.
well, isn't this? Call me crazy. Is this the one award that's like all player voted? I mean, all fan voted.
no.
No, that's
Oh,
there's a
really?
community game of the year
Okay.
vote that'll
Yeah.
happen in the next week or two.
That's crazy. For some reason, I thought this was
So-
always like fan voted.
Bench says FF7 Rebirth. Clearly not
Yeah,
biased.
and I think, I mean, I do think this will win, and then they're
And
gonna show
I
me a
respect
trailer for it.
Honestly, I think it's clearly Rebirth. I think the only game that has a second chance is Hades. I mean, that's the truth. I want Hades to win it.
Even trade Hades.
I want
That's
Hades to
crazy.
win. My personal choice would be Hades too. Granted, now
That's
that I
fair.
know it's the critics, like now that I know the critic, apparently, like you guys are saying the critics do vote on this, I could see Hades 2 beating Final Fantasy Rebirth. I thought, like, if this was full fan voted, it would be Rebirth 100%. There wouldn't be a chance
Yeah,
for anything else.
I am also between those two. I want to say Hades 2, just barely, because I do think the critics have a lot of like respect for Hades and Supergiant, and I think it would be kind of a good feeling. Like I okay, here's my kind of like conspiracy. I think these are the voted for most anticipated because all these games have trailers.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
that's what
Well,
Jeff said.
yeah,
Is like
yeah,
they have to
he
be
did say
officially
that. Okay.
announced games.
Yeah, he said that's why GTA
No, I mean,
6
trailers at-
isn't there because you
I
think
mean
they have
trailers at the
here.
show. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yet each
Ooh.
5 of these games are very likely to get shown there. They're all releasing. Besides Hades, it was there last year, so there's precedent. And Star Wars was at Summer Game Fest or something like that. So
No, Star Wars
in-
was Ubisoft, but yeah, it was close to it.
Yeah, but they all have precedent for like Jeff could have any of these or all of these. there's all very good reasons to why he could,
didn't
and I think
think
he
about
has
that.
all of them.
That's a good shout, and that would be awesome if all 5 of these games are there.
Oh yeah, that's very exciting, especially Hades 2.
Rebirth is going to be there. He's had it last.
Yeah, Rebirth. It
year.
needs a trailer. I'm assuming it's gonna get like kind of a big marketing push before it's released.
Although, what
This
would
seems
Tekken
like
have
the
a
best way.
trailer for? All the characters have been revealed.
Story trailer. They haven't shown much on the campaign. They can probably do something there.
You're asking Square Enix to make up a trailer with spoilery content. That's their strategy all the time. I don't think you need doubt that.
Hey, listen, 7 Rebirth. You know, like we're gonna find out who the final boss is, who dies, who lives, all that good shit. Can't wait for that trailer.
I mean, that's the launch trailer, but
Moon, what's your prediction? Because I say Hades 2.
I'm gonna go with Hades too.
Okay, so me and Moon are Hades 2, and Bench and Fusion are 7 Rebirth.
I
Sounds
feel like
good.
I'm betraying over here.
All right,
Next category, best adaptation. My favorite category. Basically, whatever got a video game adapted into a. They have descriptions here. Recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. We got Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo. Nobody watched that movie. The Last of Us, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and Twisted Metal.
Last of Us will win, but it should be Mario.
I think Mario has a slight chance of winning.
I think The Last of Us wins.
It's definitely
Imagine
between
they
Last
fly-
of Us and Mario, though.
I already wrote
Imagine
Last
they
of Us
fly
for
Jack
Fusion.
Black.
Good.
Biased us.
Imagine they fly Jack Black down and he sings Peaches at the Game Awards. That'd be epic.
Well,
You
they
can
can
still
do
do
it
that.
regardless.
There's nothing
Yeah.
saying they can't.
It's like, oh, you didn't win the award. Get the hell out of here.
The only reason I think Mario has a slight chance of beating Last of Us is, once again, this is a pool of critics, and we know critics love
Critics
Mario.
love Last of Us.
Yeah, I know, but it really just depends on the kinds of critics that we don't know who's in this circle for the most part.
We do. They have
Greg
a full
Miller,
list of
that's
all
all
the
we
critics.
know. Well, I don't know if Greg Miller's actually in it, but
Moon. Did you watch the
He is.
2020 Game Awards? Last of Us 2 literally won every fucking category. I was angry.
Yeah, because they
Fusion
like
was
the game.
happy. I was angry.
But Mario Wonder is also up for nomination, so clearly they like this.
They like Mario, but
I
like
just think
Mario movie is a fun time. I love the Mario movie, but like it's not a critical darling the same way Last of Us is. And I want Mario movie to win, but it's not going to.
I
I
don't
voted
know.
for Twisted Metal though.
We're all discounting Twisted Metal, guys.
Yeah, true. That actually, I heard that was actually good. Mood said it was really good.
Wait, you watched it, man?
No, I keep
Oh,
meaning to
what?
though, but
Why did I think you watched it?
I had intentions to, and then I just never got around to it.
My prediction is Last of Us because I want to win, but in my heart, Mario wins. I'm sorry, I just can't get excited about a show that's literally just a retelling of the game. I played the game.
Did it really well, at the very least.
Yeah, no, it's probably done really well, but I personally, I'm just like, come on, I played the game. But do you have your final prediction?
Yeah, I'll just say Last of Us.
God. If Last of Us doesn't win, we're gonna all have like egg on our face.
And then, but if Mario wins, I'm gonna be, I told you. There's a bunch of parents in the voting critics.
Next up is Best Multiplayer for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
It should go to Street Fighter 6.
It'll be Street Fighter 6.
I think it's Street Fighter 6.
That's also my guess. That's what I think it will be.
I could see Mario Wonder pull out because I see a lot of people positively talking about that multiplayer.
You look at Street Fighter 6, the fact that nobody complained about the netcode of a fighting game, where I always see people complain about netcode of a fighting game. Street Fighter 6, everyone was like, oh, this is flawless. That was pretty insane to me.
I really thought this was the year we could see it for like a fighting game for Game of the Year. I really thought Street Fighter 6 was going to slip in there.
In a lesser year of like lesser big releases, it might have.
Remake, get in Street Fighter 6.
Oh my god. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Don't worry. Moon, are you
If
Street
the
Fighter 6
critics were to lean more on like the co-op experience rather than the multiplayer, I could see Baldur's Gate winning this.
That was my second. That's my like. It depends how they're going to take multiplayer because I've seen a lot of people like on Twitter, like Stevens. A lot of people are just shooing in saying Baldur's Gate co-op will win, and I haven't played the game or the multiplayer, so I have no idea. But I've seen a lot of people say that.
It's not bad. It's just really glitchy. I understand why people like it, but like I kind of screwed around with it for a bit, and I was like, oh, this is not how I'd want to play a game like this. Like that's just a me thing where I play the game and it just doesn't feel like a good co-op experience. It feels like kind of one of those like nice single player experiences, chill out by myself, cozy and everything. So
Diablo
I
getting snubbed here. No one even like. I feel like Diablo has
Diablo
really fun
doesn't
multiplayer.
deserve it. That is kind of like a big tale, though. I saw a lot of people complaining like Diablo 4 got snubbed. I don't really think it did. Now, granted, I'm biased because always online is stupid bullshit and it should not be in a single player game. But hey, you know what? That's just me.
That's the thing, though. It's not a single player game.
Well, yeah, but like, it's not a good multiplayer game. It's like my issue with Diablo 4's multiplayer is that it forces it upon you, and it's like when I'm just wandering around the world, there's not like cool interactions I could do with other players. It's literally just like, oh, I'm fighting a boss, and like some guy comes in and does like 2 damage and leaves. It's like, thanks, man. Like I don't know, like that doesn't really feel like best multiplayer versus Street Fighter 6, which just had flawless netcode and like overall everyone is happy with like the rollout of like new characters, stage, all that stuff. I feel like I haven't heard anyone complain about Street Fighter 6 from a multiplayer standpoint. Man, did you have a final prediction for
Yeah, I
best
was gonna
multiplayer?
go with Street Fighter.
Okay, cool. Let me write that down. My trusty little notepad. Next is best sports / racing game. For the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing games, we have EA Sports FC 24, F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged, and the Crew Motorfest.
I do find it funny that 4 out of 5 are racing games. Like, even though this is sports racing, that's how you know all the sports games are bad this year. They're not getting nominated.
Oh, real quick. Bench has just informed me there is actually an esports board for the Game Awards. That's my mistake, everybody. But yeah.
It's weird that I don't see that WC whatever game that somehow got 85 points in a fantasy.
You are
Critic
so
League.
mad. Okay, buddy. All right, you gotta understand, Fusion. Is that I chose that game randomly. All right, there was no thought about it.
Should be up here with that score. That's all I know. This one's hard because usually like Forza's the
tough.
winner because like every year, every time a
Was
Forza
Forza
comes out,
Motorsport received well this year? I don't know.
It was like an
wasn't that
83.
well. Yeah, like
It was
it was like
very
way
low
lower
for
than
Forza.
every other Forza game.
I think
Okay.
the crew pulls it out.
Yeah,
Which I've
probably.
heard a
I think
lot
it's
about the
Crew.
crew being
The
good.
Crew could probably pull it off. I want it to be Hot Wheels because I think that's funny, but it's
I
probably
think
gonna be the Crew.
I was leaning towards Hot Wheels, but I'm.
It's
I don't
Hot
know.
Wheels or Crew. I don't know. It's tough. My viewpoint, I think
I don't think enough people played that Hot Wheels game.
that's the thing. Hot Wheels was like late October, if I remember correctly. So I think
Yeah.
like the people who played it were into it, but like not enough got to it, like you said. And I think the Crew is also tough though, because I feel like I heard nobody talk about it except Mike Minotti. Like I think
And that's
all
all
of
that
these have
matters.
I think all of these have a chance except for EA Sports FC and F123. I don't really think those have really any chance. They seem to kind of just be like filler titles.
Oh my god, the
Yeah,
crew.
we're also
is
gonna
my
get to that
favorite
here soon
match.
with the fighting game category.
Okay, so Fusion's going with the Crew.
I'll go with the Crew.
Also with
The
the Crew.
crew.
The
Oh
crew.
my god.
We're all crew
And I'm
boys.
also going with the Crew. God damn, guys. We got to start differentiating or else like
we
we're all
will.
going to win.
Yeah, don't worry. Wait till Zelda pops in here and lets every Vincent win.
Oh, this
God.
next category is good.
Yeah. Speaking of this next category, best sim / strategy. Best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, City Skylines 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4, baby! That's the winner! Lock it in.
Pikmin will
It's
win.
winning. It's gonna
Pikmin
win.
will win.
You could suck my dick,
Yeah.
Company of Heroes, Cities, shit lines, fucking trash can ass games. It's time!
I think
I
Pikmin also
could definitely
wins.
see Pikmin winning this. I mean, granted, I don't know anything about Company of Heroes or the fan base. I don't know if this latest installment was received well. I know City Skylines 2 released very broken.
I was just saying, I feel like if it
Yeah.
released well, it would have a real shot, but like it
Oh, yeah.
didn't. So
Yeah. Does anyone know
People
about anything
really
about Companies of
happy.
Hero 3 and how it released?
I
Nope.
can't tell you anything.
Okay.
I think people were
never played a
happy
Company
with
of
it.
Heroes game.
So-
Fire Emblem Engage just no.
I mean, it's got that combat down. It was just dog shit story.
I didn't. I mean, it's the combat's good.
Was that game from January? Did
Yeah,
Engage come out again? Dude,
January.
that feels for some reason that feels like a 2022 game.
It really does.
Yeah.
Advance Wars is a funny one.
It's
I
funny
really
because
like
it's
it.
literally an exact. It's a straight remake. Like they didn't change anything.
I thought it was still delayed. I didn't know it came out.
Oh my god,
in
Fusion
April
just
this
hates
year.
Nintendo. Just
No,
say
I
you don't like
just-
Nintendo. It's okay.
Like, when did they shadow drop it? They're like, oh, it's out today.
Nah,
Like,
it was in a Nintendo Direct. They said it was April. It was like
Well, the
2
problem
weeks
was it was
before
delayed
Zelda.
like multiple times because of the whole Russia war
Yeah.
thing, and then
Yeah.
they're like, then they came out and said, oh yeah, it's coming out in like 2 months.
Hey, listen, I'm just happy. We all agree it's Pikmin 4, right? Like,
It's,
yeah, I think.
I
Pikmin-
begrudgingly
Listen,
picked
I'm-
Pikmin, even
I'm
though I
sorry.
would think it would be really funny if Fire Emblem won.
Is this
I want
the
you guys to
only
know-
category it got up for?
Yeah, Fire Emblem.
no,
yeah.
there's no. Pikmin 4 got another category. Oh, are you talking about Fire Emblem? Fire
I was
Emblem.
talking about Fire
Yeah.
Emblem, but yeah.
Yeah, it was only that category for Fire Emblem. God bless
Okay.
Engage. Anyways, best family game. Disney Illusion Island. For the best game appropriate for a family play, irrespective of genre or platform. Disney Illusion Island, Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars. No, Super Mario Brothers Wonder. The fuck is Sonic doing there? Come on, man.
I think this is like easily Mario. Like, there's
This
no
is
way
easily
Mario
Mario.
in this category and doesn't get picked. Like, this is the one category Mario probably wins. Like, they're like, what can we give Super Mario Bros. Wonder best family
You
game? Like,
guys have zero respect for Pikmin.
We
Wait, is
gave
that-
it best sim.
Wonder's gonna win though.
is this a dog? What is this in this Pikmin photo? Why is he
Oh
kinda
my
cute?
god! Yeah, yes, it's a dog.
Oh wow! I
Talking
didn't know they
shit
had
about
those, dude. No, that's good. That looks cute. It's about to make me play it.
you better play it.
I don't know about that.
Uh, what is this? What is this Pikmin disrespect? Listen, this is where we differentiate. I believe this may be
Oh, okay.
misplaced belief. This may be like me being an idiot and throwing away maybe a self-sustained victory. Maybe this prediction will screw me over for the victory. Who knows? Who knows? But I believe Pikmin 4, man. Y'all gotta understand. That's like they just made the best Pikmin. Like they just casually made the best Pikmin game.
Yeah,
like
they
it was
made the
nothing.
best Pikmin. But the thing is, though, this is best family, so this is a game you're going to play with the family. You're not playing Pikmin multiplayer with the kids or wife or whatever. You're playing Mario with them.
Don't convince me otherwise, because I am
Pikmin's only in
actually
this
close to
category because
Convince
Nintendo has
him.
colors.
It'll give us 3 points.
He'll give us 3 points. That Wolf as
Can I
some-
change my answer actually?
as
No, you're locked in. Pikmin's
as
the
Sun
guy.
Tzu
No.
once said. As Sun Tzu once said in The Art of War, don't interrupt your enemy when they're about to make a mistake.
Damn it! No, wait. Hang on, guys. Come on. Let's negotiate. But
You
no,
can't
no,
back
no.
down now.
No, I'm holding true. Pikmin 4, baby. It's happening. Jeff is gonna say best family for Pikmin 4, and I'm gonna fucking take that. Like, that's like me winning the
He's
category.
running
all right?
victory laps around his house.
God damn. Best fighting game for the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat: God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, and Street Fighter 6. I mean, this is Street Fighter 6. I think this is a
Street
great
Fighter
one.
Yeah.
6.
Mortal
I think
Kombat
Street
could
Fighter.
win because it has
Mortal
a much
Kombat, yeah.
because the voters are much more American oriented, and Mortal Kombat is definitely bigger in American audiences. So there's a chance.
There's a Japan tax now? Oh my god, I already heard about the Xbox tax. Now we got the Japan tax.
This is also like one of those categories where you feel like the judges really had to like go to Google and Wikipedia, like what other fighting
Yeah.
games came out this
I've
year.
never
and see-
heard of God of Rock.
God of Rock
I-
came out. No, here's the funny thing. Go to Open Critic and look up God of Rock and see like how did this get nominated? It has I'm gonna pull up real quick because I want to get the exact number. I don't want to lie on this podcast. God
Yeah,
of
we
Rock.
never lie on this podcast.
Uh-huh.
We'll only tell the truth.
It has a 57 Metacritic score with a
What
14
the fuck?
with a 14% critic recommend.
Why is it
Because there
nominated?
literally no other fighting game came out this year and they needed a fifth. So they literally went to Wikipedia, Control F fighting game genre, and found God
Honestly,
of Rock.
Isn't
I'd
Pocket
rather-
Bravery a mobile game also?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, because it's Pocket.
I'd rather this than Sifu being nominated for best fighting game, because that was
I mean,
That
yeah,
was a
that is an
discussion.
argument that people were
Why
mad
did
about
you
last year
remind
with
me?
Sifu getting in.
Why did
So
you
maybe
remind me
Jeff was
about
like best fighting game. Someone probably was like, you can do Hi-Fi Rush, and Jeff was like, no, I just put this God of Rock game in there.
I mean, that is kind of a discussion. Should that in the future, like if there isn't enough fighting games and there's clearly like God of Rock is this bad, should they just like reduce the nominees and say like, hey, for this category there's only 4 nominees because this game is just clear. Like, there's just not another fighting game that's like eligible. It feels like that is of the quality for a nomination.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
definitely a point of
I
contention.
mean, it's probably cool though for the God of Rock like devs.
Oh
to
yeah,
see
I was
it.
about to say, like, imagine being the developers of this. Your game sells like crap. It gets just ridiculed online from all critics, and they're like, and then here comes Jeff Keighley's like, here's your nomination award.
Yeah, but it almost feels unearned, where it's like, we made a bad game, and then we got nominated for like a category win. Like,
Just
it
because
feels
literally no
unfair.
other fighting is, because this is like the exact opposite
It
of a
feels
bunch of other
participation.
categories where there were too many other nominees that had to be narrowed down. This one didn't have enough.
Exactly. Yeah. The fighting game has always had this weird thing where it's like,
I mean,
at this point,
yeah.
it almost feels like it's a category just for category's sake, because they just never have enough nominees.
Yeah, and it's also funny just with like God of Rock and Nick All-Star Brawl 2, where literally the best of Mortal Kombat and the best of Street Fighter come out in the same year.
So we're all saying Street Fighter 6 for this one, though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the differentiated one and say Mortal Kombat.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay, we're starting to get some different choices. We gotta stop having the same opinion. So I'm glad you did that, man. I had to purposely.
I know it's probably
going to
bite me in the ass because Mortal Kombat has a much higher skill ceiling than Street Fighter, so it's probably the lower skill ceiling of Street Fighter is probably going to appeal a lot more to critics. So I'm probably shooting myself in the foot with that one.
We'll see. I think that Western bias may come into play, but hopefully not. Best RPG. This one had some.
We're all
discussion.
RPG boys in here, so.
For the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy.
You can't even say it.
Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars. Hey, Sea of Stars. Starfield.
The GOAT.
Xbox fans, we made it.
Wow. Well, Final Fantasy 16 is way better than any of the games on the list. It'll be Baldur's Gate 3.
My man said way better. Okay, sit with me for a minute, everybody. Let's all regale a tale. What about Final Fantasy 16 as an RPG? Because that's an action game, ladies and gentlemen.
It's an action RPG.
I don't know, but it's still the second best game that released this year.
Lies P's not an RPG in my eyes.
That's an RPG.
Really?
Yeah, come on. You know, there's like big stats. There's
so is Final Fantasy.
So does Final Fantasy.
Okay, fine. Listen, okay, I'll give you that one. Okay, fine. They're both not RPGs. This category is fucking stupid.
I would say,
but the problem is because RPG, the genre has evolved so much over the years.
Every game is an RPG.
Every game is like an RPG in some way.
And even Blessing on Kind of Funny was saying, like, even Sea of Stars feels kind of weird in this category. It's obviously a RPG, but it's such a different RPG than the rest of them that, like, it almost feels like there should be separate RPG categories. Like
turn-based and action. I heard that. Yeah. Like, I think that should definitely be the case because, like, there were a lot of RPGs that didn't get into this category. Like, I would love turn-based RPG to have its own category because there are so many. Like,
how did Octopath Traveler not get in here?
Yeah.
Over like Lies of P. Like, no,
over
I
Starfield.
love Lies of P, but
and a fucking Starfield here. That's not a good game.
I mean, God of Rock got nominated, so. The problem with splitting up turn-based and action is because yes, like this year we got a lot of turn-based RPGs, but normally we don't.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like we still get enough, like, you know, niche Japanese turn-based RPGs that, like, kind of deserve that nomination.
Sure,
but,
then
like,
we would get all, like, the Atelier games nominated because they'll have to fill it in.
It's not a bad thing.
That'd be funny.
Because that's not like they're bad games, like God of Rock, apparently from what we see.
Apparently, we don't know. We've never played it.
Hey, Atelier has a score of 84, so.
Yeah, these are games that are highly rated. I feel like separating it would be nice in the future, but that's just me personally. But what are we predicting?
This is so
Baldur's
weird.
Gate.
I don't think
I mean, it's Baldur's Gate, but at the same time, if Baldur's Gate wins Game of War, they're not going to give it Best RPG.
I think of just, I mean, we like Whoop said, if a game is like really, really good, it can sweep. Last of Us did it. Red Dead Redemption 2 was doing it for the most part.
Fucking bullshit, by the way. I'm still mad.
It should have.
Should have won.
Pretty sure Breath of the Wild did. Like, if your game's just very, very good, the voters don't care. They'll just give you awards. They'll give you a dollar.
But that's the thing with this specifically. Like, this is Baldur's Gate 3 because, like, that you play that game, that is an RPG. Like multiplayer, that's like an argument where it's like, it's maybe not the best multiplayer.
Yeah,
This
I
game is
could
an
see-
RPG as RPG.
You could make the argument that maybe it's too much of an RPG.
Oh my god, this child.
You know, really
Dude, remember
looking
when he said it
over
was like
the
his
other
favorite
games
game?
and thinking about critics and all that, even if it did win Best Game of the Year, it's gonna more critics liked it more than most of these games for the most part. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go Baldur's Gate 3.
Well, okay. We gotta stop agreeing, guys. Come on.
Well, that one I felt like that one's the easiest one, to be
Oh
honest.
yeah, that's really easy. This is actually where we're gonna get a little competitive. Best action adventure. For the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. We got Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Zelda.
Zelda. Like, I don't know how you
Spider-Man.
make an argument against it.
I think you can make an argument against it.
It's just Breath of the Wild DLC.
Yeah, no.
Bro.
My one argument is it just feels really weird to be in this category. I don't know why. I'm not
With
saying it's
Zelda?
not an action adventure. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not an action adventure
He
because it
left.
obviously is. But I don't. I feel that when I think action adventure, I think of like the Uncharted style video games or like the Alan Wake or the Jedi Survivor. Like in my head, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
always thought Zelda was more of just an adventure game. I don't really
Yeah,
see
it felt
the
more
action
adventure,
part.
maybe even RPG in a way.
But it says combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. That is Zelda.
I mean, the combat is fine. I'm not really.
Traversal and puzzle solving. That is Zelda.
No, okay, no. I mean, listen. I'm fine with it in this category. I don't care. It is interesting to debate what wins this category. Moon, you said Spider-Man 2.
I want it to be Spider-Man 2. I could see them going either to Tears of the Kingdom or Alan Wake 2. You have to come back to me.
So Jedi Survivor's just I don't think
And it's yeah, the
that buggy
different
launch
year
really
it would.
hurt it.
Yeah, and the launch. My thing is, if Legend of Zelda does not win this category, it might not win a single category. That will be the
That
downfall
will
of
kill,
someone.
bro.
That
That
will be the
bitch
downfall
dies
of someone
there.
in this Discord.
I think I'm gonna give it to Zelda, like for predicting. It makes sense for Zelda to win. People like Zelda. I'd say more. Like, I think we're kind of forgetting. Like there are a lot of Zelda simps on the jury, so like I think it's enough to carry.
Yeah,
over
you're right.
to it.
It's so hard because I just like I don't know. Before it was
There's
always
something
between
different for
Yeah,
Alan
that's
Wake
the
and
thing is though, is
Spider-Man.
like when people talk
Right.
about Tears of the Kingdom, who's talking about the combat?
Yeah, no one. I mean, it's tough because it's like I think Zelda. I think it is like probably my favorite game of these 5, but it almost feels like action adventure. Like it
Like with
feels a little.
traversal, I don't know if Alan Wake has enough traversal. It doesn't
Yeah,
have any.
Alan Wake's a tough one too. I don't know if I'll consider
Spider-Man
that actually.
perfected traversal.
Okay, can we just agree? Action. These genre categories are pretty silly. Like it's just like action adventure. Oh,
Yeah,
but
the
this
more
one's
games
not really. It's like
Yeah, the more games get more complicated, the harder they're getting hard to put in categories.
exactly.
You know what? I'll be different. I'll go Spider-Man.
You go Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'll go
And then-
Spider-Man. Fusion and I
cool.
can die together.
I mean, I don't know. I think it has.
Here's
a
how
chance.
I'll see it. Critics might be like, yeah, this is races between Zelda and Baldur's Gate 3. Spider-Man doesn't have a chance of winning Game of the Year, so we're gonna give it Best Action Adventure. That's how I can see some people voting.
There's always a lot of people that vote like that enough.
This will be
Next
somehow this will be the Resident Evil 4 remake that wins. They'll be like, just give it
Let's
best action
go.
adventure. Like,
For the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat, Armored Core 6, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. This is a cool category.
Armored Core 6.
Yeah, I think Armored Core
Core 6 is
6.
It's the third best game that released this year.
In my heart, I want to say Hi-Fi Rush, but it's
In your
probably going
opinion.
to Armored Core.
I think Hi-Fi Rush and Armored Core are very like close. Listen, guys. Okay, I can't let my biases go away. You know,
I know.
From Soft, they just never miss.
you and every critic
Core
at this
6.
award is gonna say the same thing.
Armored Core 6 is FromSoft's best game to date.
Shut up, Bench. This idiot thinks he could get to
But
my
did
fucking
more
head.
did more people play Hi-Fi Rush than Armored Core 6?
Oh my god.
Obviously.
I mean, actually, you're right though. Damn it.
Actually, you
no.
might be onto something. Hi-Fi Rush is a lot more accessible to the critics than Armored Core is.
Also, we do know recency bias does not exist. People keep trying to say recency bias exists. It doesn't. Because like you look at every other Game of the Year winner, like almost every Game of the Year winner came out in the first half.
I'm gonna go
I just-
Hi-Fi Rush. Like if there's a category for it to win, it's this
I'm
one.
gonna go Hi-Fi Rush because critics are bad gamers.
Man, you know what just sucks? Both categories in a row, me and Bench agree. God damn it.
I mean, that's 2 points of 2 extra points that we won't get if you guys get it right, and vice
We'll
versa.
see.
Watch it be Dead Island 2.
Dude,
Yeah, Dead Island- okay,
that's crazy.
Oh, I do want to talk about that. Dead Island 2. Did that felt like that was kind of just there because it's like, we didn't have any other category and we kind of like this game, so throw it in
Like
there.
this is where I would have put like Liza P and Best Action
Yeah,
Game
same.
and put it over like a Dead Island 2. Like that's what I would have done.
It's
But
it's these genre categories. They're really silly. Moving on. Best VR/AR. For the best game experienced playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform. Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Humanity, Resident Evil Village VR mode, and Synapse. There's always one that I haven't heard of. Good deal.
I didn't even
I-
realize Humanity was
I think it's-
playable in VR.
me
AR.
neither. I did not know that.
Yeah,
I
me
think it's
neither.
Horizon. I think just
It's gonna be
name
Horizon or
Gran
Resident
carries
Evil.
No,
You
I'm going.
guys,
I'm going Gran
guys-
Turismo.
people on Horizon. I think you guys got to remember how low people were on
Were
Horizon.
they? I did not pay
I got,
attention to it.
It was like a low 70s.
Oh, I'm gonna look it
Mid
up
to
right
low
now. I'm still-
70s. I'm not.
I'm still on God of Rock.
I'm on Gran Turismo.
I
Lock me
think
in.
the tech of the PSVR 2 helps carry it.
Yeah. Though, I mean, even in that regard, though, Gran Turismo, like you look at that
No,
game, that
Horizon
is
Call of the
insane.
Mountain has an 80.
Wow, dude,
Really?
roast them for lying.
80. Okay, but that's still
Okay.
like okay. You got to understand, VR weirdos are the people that review these games. VR
Yeah, how many
put a
VR
higher
weirdos
scale
are on the
games.
board voting?
Yeah, well, no, that's what kind of my viewpoint is that like when it comes to VR games, they tend to kind of score higher than 80. Like I feel like most VR games are in the high 80s. Like Asgard's Wrath 1 has an 89 on Metacritic. Like that is always kind of surprising me, like how high some of these VR games score. And Horizon felt like it scored pretty low in comparison.
I think they just might give it more to an actual VR game than just a VR mode of like Gran Turismo or Resident Evil.
My thing with Gran Turismo is that it's such an impressive. Like you talk to anyone who played Gran Turismo in VR, it's like, yeah, it's literally like barely any like, I guess what would you call it, sacrifices made. It very much is just Gran Turismo, but you're in first person, and it is a thoroughly impressive experience, especially if you're one of those weirdos who has like that kind of simulation racing kit and everything, where it's like, okay, just drive in real life at that point, guys. Let's come on.
Fine, I'll go Gran Turismo.
Oh wow, why do you talk them into it?
Yeah, no, really. So Moon's Gran Turismo and Fusion, you're also Gran Turismo.
Yes.
Okay, I will say I think Resident Evil has a big chance too, because literally the picture they use for Resident Evil
Is
Village
the big lady.
People are so horny. Best mobile game. For the best game playable on a mobile device, Final Fantasy VII, Ever Crisis, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, God bless, Honkai Star Rail, Monster Hunter Now, and Terra Nil. And this is Honkai's like category to lose. Like I
This
think
just
is
this
pretty
fully
easily to win.
depends on if a lot of gotcha whales are in the voting committee or not. Like,
Well, even then,
I
my
thought Ever Crisis was apparently good.
yeah, that's the thing. Is like I think
it
a
was
more
absolutely-
casual critic might vote for Final Fantasy and be more interested and most likely have played Final Fantasy Ever Crisis more
Nah,
than deep diving into Honkai Star Rail.
I think
No, I
people
think it's
played
Honkai.
You got to
No, I
remember,
think it's
Honkai
I
was
think
Honkai's genuinely a good game. Like it is a gotcha game, but it is genuine. Like I played it.
this
It is
is-
really well made.
this is going for best mobile, but if people played it on PC, they're just gonna vote for it here. So
Exactly.
I
think
really
go
want
with-
it to be Hello Kitty Island
I'll
Adventure.
go with Star Rail, I guess.
Star
Yeah,
Rail-
I'll go Star Rail.
Okay,
Honkai
well,
Star Rail.
I need to get back to that game. I only played like an hour and a half,
It-
and
it's a
I
good
need to
game.
play more.
It's
I like
a
the
good
combat.
game. Yeah. Best debut indie game. I remember this category game annoyed the shit out of me in 2019. because Goose Game was nominated, and it was like that wasn't the studio's first game. So you never believe what Jeff says when it says it's their first game. But in this year, for the best debut game created by a new independent studio, Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder.
It's kind of hard because I hear a lot of good things about Cocoon. I heard a lot of good things about Dredge. Venba has definitely an audience. Pizza Tower was like a meme game, at least in the gaming circles that I watch on YouTube. Pizza Tower took over a lot of gaming channels that I watch. So
I think it's
it could be any one of these, honestly, except for Viewfinder. I've never heard anything about Viewfinder.
Yeah, Viewfinder was pretty low from what I heard.
I think it's no. I thought people liked Viewfinder a lot. That's what I'm going to give it to.
Oh, really?
I think it's one of the best. I think it's one of the most higher review games this year. I think it's like a 90.
Well, I'm gonna double check you right now.
He's very wrong. I know that for a fact.
I think it's Pizza Tower. I think people that played it absolutely loved it.
Oh wow, yeah. Viewfinder has an 83 with a 94 represent critic recommend.
Okay, but that's not a Bench said a
90.
Yeah. It's like, oh wait, Bench is right. It's 72.
I think Cocoon wins this. I want it to be Dredge, granted, because it's the only one I've played on this list. And I really like Dredge. Like, it's my favorite. I almost said my favorite indie, but Sea of Stars wasn't their first game. Never mind. But yeah, Dredge would be like what I want to win, but I think it would be Cocoon, just because like Cocoon is the highest rated, I'm pretty sure, out of all of these, and like it's just it's made by like. It's made by the people who made like Inside. Like people love that game and like that studio and those people. Yes.
Oh,
like,
no.
It's a different studio, but they made Inside. Like they moved on.
Yeah, it was the founders.
Yeah.
You were right. I don't know. This is tough. I think it's Pizza Tower. I feel like if you look at the people who talked about Pizza Tower, I remember when the nominees were revealed, everyone was mad that Pizza Tower didn't get nominated for more categories because it was a really highly loved game. It was kind of like that really goofy, dumb fun, like kind of a meme game, but also like genuinely a great game. And I think people really want to give Pizza Tower the respect that they feel it rightfully
you know what I just realized? A lot of these critics are probably boomers. I was thinking of Jeff Grubb for a second and Mike Minotti. Probably a lot of these voters are a bunch of boomers, and Pizza Tower is reminiscent of the Wario Land games, and they love those Wario Land games. So they're probably going to vote for that.
They're the only boomers on the panel. Like Jeff and Mike. Jeff and Mike are the minority when it comes to loving Wario Land. You ask any other like boomer critic, they don't know what the fuck a Wario is.
They have a really cool dev team name though. Like that's a good dev team name. Or the pizza.
Or the pizza. I did not notice that. God bless them.
I heard like Pizza Tower is one of those where it's like it was even a game like earlier this year where I heard like my friend group talking about Pizza Tower like on Steam where they were just playing it and I had no idea what Pizza Tower. This is the first time I just looked it up and saw what the gameplay looks like. This game looks cool.
It's really interesting.
It's manic as hell.
I'm
gonna go with Pizza Tower.
Okay, so I'm Pizza Tower. Yeah, Bench is Viewfinder. I'm Pizza Tower. Moon is Pizza Tower, and Fusion is Cocoon. Now we got a bit of controversy. You guys like some controversy?
Yes.
Best independent game for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. Cocoon, Viewfinder, Sea of Stars, Dredge, and a certain diver named Dave, who a lot of people noted was published by Nexon.
It's an internal team at Nexon.
Well, yeah, but it's still made by Nexon. But still, very much kind of like a controversial category for a lot of people. It's saying like, oh, Dave the Diver shouldn't be there. It's independent. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't really have a horse in this race. How do you guys kind of feel about this? Because I don't know really.
Like, I get where people are upset, but at the same time, it was made by a small team. It was not like it had like the entire backing of the entire company. Yes, they had the connections for publishing it, but the people who made it was a small team, right? I think it was a very small team of people who made it within the company.
Small team.
So it's like
I don't have the energy.
I can see both sides.
God bless that. I respect it. You know what?
Yeah. At the same time, I'm kind of like Benjamin. That's like I don't give a fuck.
Again, like all these categories are dumb.
I've always been in a weird spot with indies where I'm kind of like, if your team has like 20 or less people, like if 10 people made your video game, I don't care how much money you got, you're an indie in my eyes. Like that's just how my brain works. I'm like, if Dave the Diver was made by 7 people, that's an indie game to me. I don't care if Nexon was their publisher. I don't care if they got hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's silly because it's like also because what about Annapurna? What about Devolver Digital? We consider all of their games indie games, but not these guys because Nexon supported them. It's like, okay, Devolver and Annapurna aren't exactly small companies either, guys. Like, yeah, sure, smaller scale, but like at the end of the day, they're still publishers.
Yeah,
Also,
it's
it's not
very
like
odd.
Dave the Diver's gonna win this, so it doesn't
Yeah,
really
it's not.
matter.
You don't
I
think so?
mean,
I think it
It's the
could.
highest rated indie of the year.
I think
Sea
I
of
don't know.
Stars is gonna win.
But I think Sea of Stars does win this.
Sea
And
of
it
Stars
should
got
win
that
this.
pretty look to it.
Sea of Stars is pretty.
Like Sea of Stars needs to win this category.
I can see between like Dredge and Sea of Stars.
I think it's either Cocoon or Sea of Stars. I think Cocoon like got such a like big swell near the end of the year. People were really high on it. I voted for Cocoon. I should know. I haven't played any of these games. I voted for
Play elitist.
I don't have the time.
Maybe the Divers right up your alley, you AAA lover.
How the fuck would I? Okay, but no,
You say
like
you don't
I
have
think,
the time yet. You're replaying every GTA right now.
yes, because I like GTA. I will not take this disrespect. No, but I think Cocoon wins. I think Cocoon, like, there was such a big groundswell of people that came out of the woodwork saying how much they
Is there
loved
a
it.
puzzle category? I can't remember.
There is not.
No, there isn't. Okay, I was gonna say if Cocoon was in the puzzle category, I'd probably just win that. But if it's only here for independent, okay, never mind.
Okay, so I say Cocoon. Bench says Sea of Stars. Fusion, you or Sea of Stars?
Yep.
And then Moon, we're just waiting on you, buddy.
I'll go with Dredge.
Oh, it's
I
different.
like that pick. I love Dredge, but I don't think it'll win.
Dredge is interesting. I think I almost feel like the conversation on it like almost fizzled out a bit too quick for me to like really say like, oh, Dredge is gonna like.
It
have
did,
a
and I
chance.
Fine, I'll go with Dave the Diver.
Okay. Wait, no. You screwed me over for Pikmin 4. I'm not doing that. No, I already changed categories.
My thing with Dredge is I think it's still too small and like too unique of a game. Like it's a fishing like horror-esque game that I feel like a lot of critics just still haven't played. Like no one's like
Yeah.
out there playing Dredge, which is it's cool that it's getting DLC and stuff though. So maybe like more people have it on their radar with like Team 17. I'm pretty sure that's the dev team going back and like doing like updating it because the game's really cool. But I just think a lot of people haven't played it.
Moving on, we got best community support. Another, speaking of controversy, recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusiveness of social media activity, and game updates / patches. Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky. Destiny 2
I have
is
something to
funny
say
one.
about this.
Oh, he has
I
something to say.
Two of the games that are most going to win are only here because at a certain point of time they released a game that was unfinished and patched it and was good about it on social media, and that is why they're here. Baldur's Gate will probably win this when it released unfinished, and Cyberpunk could win this when it released unfinished.
Unfinished, he says. Ladies and gentlemen.
Baldur's Gate 3, Act 3, and part of some of Act 2 genuinely shouldn't have been released, and it boggles my mind.
Unfinished, he says, ladies and gentlemen.
They're still releasing patches for Baldur's Gate 3, and there's still issues in Act 3.
That's what happens when you're an indie game. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
My man is Baldur's Gate 3 hatred. Oh, you know what it is? It's an indie game. That's why. No, I don't know. It's an interesting category. I just think it's so funny that Destiny 2 is on here, though.
I think, granted, the Golden Joystick, we all know, like.
Oh my god! Don't remind me of that
don't
shit show.
Like they overwhelmed, like they destroyed in their category for this exact category, which I assume a lot of the same critics are voting. I don't see like Baldur's Gate losing this. Like everyone loves Larian. I feel like Larian has a very good presence in.
Bro,
with
ain't nobody
everything else.
asked. It's Fusion's time to shine.
So I think it will be Baldur's Gate. My second guess. I mean, I feel like No Man's Sky is the sneaky one where it's like No Man's, like they've had a
voted for No Man's Sky, so
like, they've had a comeback and everyone loves Hello Games and like
they're so awesome. You tell me right now, like they did it right. They said, hey, the game launched like garbage. They literally went to bed, didn't say a thing for like years,
and then according to Bank, your game can't launch bad.
And then they come back and they're like, hey guys, here's No Man's Sky next, and every update is fucking free. You're telling me they don't deserve best community support when they're literally like
No Man's Sky, I know, took
company?
a lot of feedback and whatnot. Whereas something like Cyberpunk, they released badly, went quiet for years on the next gen patch, and quiet on the 2.0 update and Phantom Liberty for like a long time. They weren't listening to their community and responding with patches, unlike No Man's Sky did.
Well, my thing, I don't know, because like they did like do Cyberpunk 2.0, which fixed a lot of the issues with the game, but
But
I
they were
just
quiet
can't.
about along the way.
Yeah, well, I
But
don't
yeah,
know,
this is
it's
more
tough.
of like the social media and like
Yeah, but I also think like it comes down to like how supportive you are, how quick
oh,
you are to
it
respond
does.
to
But like I
issues.
feel like Cyberpunk has more of the winning ongoing game than like best community support.
Can we talk about Destiny 2 real quick? Like I just want to talk about it. That
I
is
mean,
pretty
They
funny how it
voted.
got nominated.
They
Clear
voted
the
before.
Yeah, they voted before the layoffs. So even then, nobody was happy with Destiny. Like you look at
yeah, but I feel
Destiny
like
and
Destiny's always voted. Like I think they're always has there ever been a year where a Destiny 1 or 2 is not best
Destiny
community?
2, Final Fantasy 14, No Man's Sky, they've all been here for the past couple of years.
it's always like I just think it's kind of silly that it's always the same games every year. I was like if I'm one of the critics, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna vote for something else. I'm gonna give it to No Man's Sky again. Like maybe because like I know they won that one year as well, but like I just think they deserve it because I think Sean Murray and that team deserve any type of respect they can. Fusion, you're on Baldur's Gate, right?
Yeah, I think they'll win.
Bench, what about you?
Unfortunately, Baldur's Gate.
My man said, unfortunately. This guy hates this game, guys.
Baldur's Peak, by the way.
Baldur's Peak, I fucking love that game. Man, what about you?
I wanted to give it to No Man's Sky just by the way they're describing the category, but I'll just say Baldur's Gate.
I'm a man of my
No
word. I
backbone on that
respect.
guy. You know what I mean?
I respect No Man's Sky, bro. I want them to win so bad. I think they win. They should just win every day. They should be just call it best game. That's kind of like No Man's Sky in terms of community support, because at this point they deserve it. Best ongoing game. Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Apex Legends should not be up here. Trash ass game. 77. Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. Fortnite wins this usually, but I don't think they're gonna go Fortnite.
I think it's Final Fantasy.
Not biased, by the way. Okay, so bench is Final Fantasy. I don't really think I have a horse in this race. I don't know. Like Cyberpunk is that 2.0 update. It is Phantom Liberty. Like, but also it's like I don't know if that really counts as ongoing on the same level. I think. Moon, do you have a thoughts?
I kind of in the same thing. It's like, yeah, Cyberpunk had a really good update in DLC, but how does that two things count as ongoing?
They also had the Edge Runner update earlier this year.
That's just a content update. That's not ongoing.
I mean, that's all it says is content.
As long as you don't
Does Final Fantasy 14 have an update this year?
No.
No. Okay.
What does Fusion know? Wait,
No,
Ben,
I
did
just
Final
know
Fantasy
it didn't.
14 did Final Fantasy 14 have a substantial update this year, Bench?
Yeah, it's had like 3 different patches with.
What was that? We asked for content. Was there an expansion this year?
No, but the
Expansion
patches
does
are
not equal content.
content. I mean, literally each patch has story content, new raids, new.
Wait, wasn't
pretty
there
much just
a
a
like
ton of
visual
content.
update or something?
That's next
No,
expansion.
that's coming.
That's next year? Okay.
But I mean, the dev team's still been pretty on top of just explaining what's next. They've had their fan fests the last couple months, which have shown a lot of information.
I'm
That's
gonna go
kinda
weird
crazy.
and I'm gonna go with Fortnite.
I'm gonna go
I'm going
Fortnite.
I'm going Fortnite also. I was gonna go Cyberpunk, but then I remembered Fortnite broke its own record this year. Like Fortnite is still massive. Like it's just they had
I think-
44 million players or whatever the other week.
Yeah, that was
Like,
crazy. Yeah. I think critics are gonna want to give it to Cyberpunk to try to say like, oh, this is its story. It won. It deserves the victory after like such a rough launch that they launched the game at that state. But sure. Next category. Oh, sorry. You have something to say, Fusion?
I was just saying it'd be cool if it went to Cyberpunk. That was my up until this moment. That was my pick, and then I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go for it. So
Respect. Games for impact for a thought-provoking met game with a pro-social meaning or message. Category never made sense to me, but hey, you know what? A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Senar, Goodbye Volcano High, Chia, Terra Nil, and Venba. I just gave it to Venba because I know Jat liked Venba, so I'm just like, yeah,
Yeah,
go. I want
I,
Venba.
I hear a lot of praise about Venba, so I'd agree.
I
Yeah.
played Venba. That's the only one here. I started Chia. I got maybe like an hour in. I kind of lost interest. It was like baby's first Breath of the Wild is what I called it.
Yeah.
I wanted to play Goodbye Volcano High. I
Yeah,
might still
didn't
play
play it,
that at
yeah.
some point.
Was there anything impactful about these games, guys? I never
I
understood.
mean,
no, 'cause I never played
Venba
them.
can be seen as like it's gonna probably connect with a lot of Indian families, like children of Indian families and other cultures like that, or at least any culture that's not not white American, because they're gonna have like the whole story of their parents or grandparents immigrating. So that's probably gonna connect with a lot of people. So I'll go with Venba.
Okay, so Moon says Van, but listen, guys. All right, I'm just saying, like, games for impact. The game that impacted with a pro-social meeting. I mean, listen, Elden Ring gave me a pretty pro-social meeting last year. I think that should have gotten nominated. That's all I'm saying.
What was the meaning or message?
Dude, don't fuck with big boys. There's a meaning and message. I don't got time to go into it.
Pretty much
I
the
don't get
message of Venba is just call your mom.
Call your mom, guys. Call your mom. Fusion, what's your prediction?
I'm gonna go with the. I think. How do you pronounce Chance of Senar?
Of course, you chose the one that's hardest to spell. God damn it.
Oh,
Okay.
there's two
Wait,
N's and two A's.
any reason why? Because I don't know what this game is.
I never
Nope,
heard.
I
At least
haven't.
I've heard of all the others. I never heard of that one.
I haven't. That's the one I haven't heard of, and it's also the one just today I saw SkillUp do a OLED Steam Deck review, and he was playing this game. So I'm just like, well, that's a sign. I'm gonna go with that one.
I'm starting to think you don't care.
I just don't know. Like, I haven't played any of these other games. I watched Kyle Bossman
Yeah.
play all the way through Chia, and I don't I don't think I ever felt emotion during this. So.
I do want to play Space for the Unbound. That looked interesting when I saw the Nintendo Direct of it.
Moving on. Innovation and accessibility, recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6. Interesting
Fighter.
category.
So a lot of people are going to argue for Mortal Kombat 1 and Street Fighter 6 because they, especially Street Fighter 6, have a lot of accessibility options to make things easier for the non-sweaties like myself.
Well, I'd say Street Fighter 6 goes an even further route because there's like blind people can play Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, there was a blind person
very-
that went to Evo. That is
And
through like
then-
different pings when you hit controls. I think.
But I
really
also
elevates
want to
Street
give
Fighter.
a shout out to Hi-Fi Rush for it because they also gave a lot of accessibility features, especially for people like me who can't keep up with a good rhythm. Like there was like a lot of different assists with that. So I think it's probably a tie between Street Fighter 6 and Hi-Fi Rush, but it'll most likely go to Street Fighter 6.
Doesn't
I always
Forza
have-
always win this category?
No, not usually. Last of Us
I mean,
2
it probably
won,
does, but now there's like
but
actual real contenders for it.
I usually
going with
I
Spider-Man.
usually think it's, yeah, I'm gonna go Spider-Man 2 because like
Sony always somewhat like
Sony first-party games usually have this category on lock.
I actually heard that Spider-Man was actually pretty lacking compared to most Sony other first-party games.
Oh.
Well, it had a lot of
I don't believe
accessibility
you.
options. It didn't have the full suite that a lot of games do that come out of Sony, but they were promised in future updates.
Moon, what was your prediction?
I want to say Hi-Fi Rush, but I think the credits are going to go for Street Fighter 6.
Okay, interesting. Street Fighter 6 is really interesting with the fact that straight up a blind person can play that game. Like that is fascinating.
I've
And
voted for too many categories already. It's gotta slow down.
I think the problem I always have trouble deciding with that category because I'm just so good at games that like I don't need the accessibility options. You know, I'm just
yeah, you beat Sekiro. Yeah.
yeah, I'm the guy who beat Sekiro. This is a category that I think is going to be pretty competitive. Best performance awarded to an individual for voiceover, acting, motion, and/or performance capture. Ben Starr, Cameron Monaghan, Idris Elba, Milena Libbard, Libbard, Neil Newbon, and Yuri Lowenthal.
Just give
Better
Bedstar the award.
That basic ass performance. Nah, that's my boy Yuri. I believe in Yuri Lowenthal. I feel he's gonna win. That's my Spider-Man. That's my goddamn Spider-Man.
Does anyone? I've heard that Baldur's Gate character is really good, but
I
It's not a
met him
character.
and I met him and
He's
I
not a-
immediately kicked
yeah.
him out of my party.
He's not a character. He's just not a character I'd want. Like, he's not a
Taking your
character
daughter
I'd give
home?
an award to.
Oh.
Why isn't it Shadowheart? God damn it! I'm so pissed about that.
Wolf, did you beat Baldur's Gate?
No, I really like it.
This better not be a spoiler about to come out of Big's mouth.
No, I was just curious
Yeah,
because we
okay.
haven't talked about it in like 2 weeks.
No. I love Baldur's Gate. I just took a break from it for now because that is a very nerdy
Long
game.
game.
It's a nerdy game.
I'm
But no,
also
I
going
think
with
Yuri
Bedstar.
wins this. Oh my god. Oh my
I
god.
would love if Yuri win.
You guys are just saying Ben Star
No, I just think
because
I think you're forgetting. Nope, I think
No.
you're forgetting how good Bedstar really was.
he was fine. He was fine.
Nope.
I think people are
No.
overrating him. He was okay.
I do think he's just
No.
kind of more of like just a social media trend than.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
That's why people
Ben
want him to win because
Starr-
he's big on social media.
Ben Starr had one of the most impactful voice performances I've heard in a game in a very long time.
Why
His
wasn't
performance is
Torgal nominated?
legendary. Because
Where's Torgal?
Give it actually, we should put best dog as a category. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. I think Bedstar. I think people are getting a little horny about this. Like he's fine. He was okay. I just
was
think
incredible.
I think all these other actors did a better job. I'll be honest, except Neil. Just because I didn't like his character. Nothing against him as a voice actor. I just didn't really like that vampire dude from Baldur's Gate.
I really like Yuri also, but I'm just gonna go Bedstar. I'm very surprised. Kind of
there's
surprised
two
whoever
others.
voices Miles Morales wasn't there. I don't know his name, but
MJ, you mean?
I mean, he was really good. I think he was nominated in 2020 for
Yeah,
the
he
Miles
was.
Morales. So yeah, I guess I don't know. I think Yuri Lowenthal did a better job personally, but that's my Spider-Man. Idris Elba, that was kind of like a big runner-up as well from a lot of people. I think he has a chance just because he's a celebrity.
He's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
no, not even because of that. He's probably my number 2 for the year. His performance in Phantom Liberty was like very, very good. It's just I like Ben Starr's more.
I'm just saying. I mean, Mads Mikkelsen won in 2019 for Death Stranding, deservingly so. So I think so. You know what? I'm going to change my vote. I'm going to Idris Elba. We haven't jumped off of this category yet, so I think I can do that. I think Idris Elba is going to sneak away the win. I think it'll. People were really high on Phantom Liberty in that
Did
regard.
Moon vote?
No, Moon's.
I want it to be Yuri, and I really like Yuri.
This is your
But
category, Moon.
I think a lot of people wasn't still convinced by his bully persona of when he was
Was
Venom
so
and all
good.
that.
People are they're liars. They just wanted them to go shocker.
Did you see what Luke Stevens said? You
I
hate
don't
it.
know.
Dude,
Luke
I
Stevens
heard
said,
it. I was so mad. I was so mad. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about.
He said he was annoyed by Peter, like
He's
an
an
hour
Xbox
into the game.
fanboy now, but he's not actually. But still,
Wait, who are you talking about?
Luke
As a
Stevens, like the
YouTuber.
YouTuber. He said he was annoyed by Yuri like an hour into the game.
I do not know what the fuck that
So-
take is, bro. I love that man, but come on.
I just think a lot of people just weren't swayed by Yuri this time around. But I don't think it's his fault. I think it was just more like the script. Yuri obviously acted well with what he had, but
It's
what
so
he had just
unfair.
wasn't that great.
It's so unfair, Lowenthal. 2018, that was an unfair one because it was like, oh man, Yuri Lowenthal, you did great as Spider-Man, but you were up against Kratos and Arthur Morgan. And then in 2023, this year, it's like, oh, you're up against Final Fantasy weirdos and Cyberpunk weirdos. That's an unwinnable fight. Like, you're not gonna.
So, yeah, unfortunately, I think that's going to happen again. I'm going to give it to Idris Elba.
Okay, so me and you are on Idris Elba. I mean, I heard he's really good, so who knows? Maybe when Fusion gets to that part of the DLC. Best audio design.
Hi-Fi
Fun
Rush.
category here. Recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design: Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4. Okay, I'm sorry. It has to go to Hi-Fi Rush. The whole game was on.
No,
Oh my god.
it's Dead Space.
Wham wham. Dead Space. Okay.
I think he might be right.
Oh my God, Fusion, I hate you.
And
Okay,
the only
wait a
thing
minute. We're
is,
talking about
What?
audio design here. We're
I'm
not talking
talking
like soundtrack or anything. This is just
like,
Yeah.
in-game audio and design.
Yeah,
Okay, it might have to go to Dead Space.
I wasn't
No,
even thinking Hi-Fi Rush. I think it's between Dead Space and Alan Wake.
guys, no, I'm not talking about soundtrack with. Okay, Hi-Fi Rush. The whole game was on beat. How do you make a game where the whole game is on beat? Everything sounds cohesive. Everything is clean in that regard. And people are like, "Man, Dead Space, man, no, that shift
Because
sounded really
you gotta
cool."
think about like the
Some of
audio designs in a horror game and how that like elements it. Or like Dead Space, you can hear
Oh,
things crawling behind you coming down the wall, or like you can hear these footsteps. Like Hi-Fi Rush, you're hearing the beat nonstop, but there's no like depth to the audio compared to some of these other
There
games.
is. Oh, you're insane. There is so much
Um,
more. Dude, sound effect. Every character's movement, every like armor, hit, attack, anything was on the beat. Like, how do you do that? And then it's like Dead Space. Wow, look, it sounds so creepy. And also, Mr. Remake hater Fusion over here.
I don't want him to win, but
I don't know. Maybe I'm just.
my
I
I
think
think
I
one,
Alan
think
Wake
it,
wins this season.
Fusion
my
with
one
your
would be-
eyes.
my one would
I
be
do
Alan
think
Wake.
you have to Fusion with your eyes. I do think you have to recognize that the Dead Space being a remake, but the audio design is kind of something different, right?
I mean, I think it will be Dead Space. I think this is the reason why Dead Space. This is the only category that Dead Space was in, and I think it will win it.
Okay, so Fusion says Dead Space.
Like you got to think about like this way. Like if Dead Space, the only time the critics threw Dead Space onto some voting thing was for best audio. So these critics are thinking, okay, Dead Space must have really good audio if it's not for a single other category, but somehow guys then sneak in, but it's in the best audio design. Like when I think of Dead Space remake, the first thing I think of is that audio.
I don't know. Whatever you say. I don't know. I understand your viewpoint. I just think Hi-Fi Rush is so impressive from that aspect. Like, I don't know. I can't not give it to that game. When you're going Dead Space as well.
Yeah, that was a really good point. It's like this is the only nomination it got.
You guys are all gonna rue the day. You will rue the day. Best score in music for outstanding
Hi-Fi
music
Rush.
was. Oh my god.
Final Fantasy 16.
These two nerds. Oh my god. At least
Nerd.
you're patient. Best score, outstanding music inclusive of score, original song, and/or licensed soundtrack. Want to point that out. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, and Tears of the Kingdom. Why the hell is Tears of the Kingdom here?
What
Yeah,
music is in
that
that
shouldn't
game?
be here. Sea of Stars should have replaced Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, for sure. Because like, I mean, I don't hate Zelda's soundtrack in this game. I actually think it's a lot better than Breath of the
There's
Wild
only
soundtrack. But I'm like, come
Yeah,
on,
it's
there's like
better.
3 good songs.
Yeah, it's like the Wind Temple, the final boss, and like the opening is like the 3 most
Yeah.
memorable of that game.
And the Ganon theme. That was good.
Well, yeah, that just the ending kind of like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it to Final Fantasy. I listen to that soundtrack daily still.
Okay. I listen. Okay, I know. Don't take the. You don't have to take this take seriously. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel like Final Fantasy 16 soundtrack is kind of boring. It just sounds the same. Like I feel like I've heard it in like he left.
He left.
I was gonna say that about Hi-Fi Rush.
What the fuck?
Okay,
What the fuck?
I'm kidding. That was a joke.
Okay,
That was a joke.
okay.
Dude,
I
this
could
one's
some
hard.
people see sway. At least I haven't played the game yet, but because of some musical performance I've heard about, it could go to Alan Wake 2.
Dude,
I think
that's in my
Alan
head.
Wake 2
Alan
would
Wake
pull
2's music is so good.
I think it goes to Alan Wake 2 without question. That soundtrack is beautiful. Dude, fucking
At the end of every chapter, dude, it's so good.
you get this like 10 out of 10 song. Anger's Remorse, Wake Me Up. Or no, Wide Awake, that was the name of that song. What was that one? I mean, this big spoiler, like the chapter that everyone's talking about in that game. Everyone knows.
Herald of
God
Darkness?
Shh, be quiet.
You
Be quiet. I don't want to know.
That's a song.
I'm going Alan Wake 2.
I'm going Alan Wake 2.
Convincing myself. I was Final Fantasy 16.
I didn't
for,
give
like, my
Hi-Fi
entire
Rush
life.
audio design, so I have to give Hi-Fi Rush best score in music.
Okay, so Hi-Fi Rush for Moon, Final Fantasy 16, shockingly bench. And then for Fusion, you say Alan Wake 2 as well.
Yeah. If I should end up being Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, really. Baldur's Gate has a really good soundtrack. I do want to point that
Baldur's
out.
Gate has some good songs, But also, like, the soundtrack isn't like super big, and it kind of repeats itself a lot, and it kind of like grades over time. There's like
This
one
game
big
not
memorable
no
song.
way. Oh
in
my
all the
god,
series.
bro said this soundtrack grades, but he's like Final Fantasy 16's his peak. Dog, I was
It
playing
is.
for 16. I'm like, bro, I've heard this song like 12 times in like 12 other games. I don't know.
I
Baldur's
think
Gate 3
the way
soundtrack is
Final
beautiful.
Fantasy 16 does their music with the boss battles elevates their music. But is the music itself
Like Hi-Fi
amazing?
Rush
I don't
also
know.
does that though, because like I don't know, that's me. I don't know. It's a competitive category. All those games except Tears of the Kingdom have great soundtracks. Best art direction. For outstanding
Hi-Fi Rush.
creative and oh my god, can I read it? Creative and or
Mario
technical
Wonder.
achievement in artistic design and animation. Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Mario Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom. This goes to Hi-Fi Rush for me. Like, come on.
Mario
I
Wonder.
want to give it to Hi-Fi Rush, but I think all the nerds on the voting board are going to give it to Wonder.
I don't think Mario. I love
personally,
Mario
I'd give it
Wonder.
to. Personally, I'd give it to Hi-Fi, but I think Mario takes it.
I love Mario. Like I'm the Mario guy. I'm the Mario simp. I love the animation in that game, but I feel like Hi-Fi Rush is just like that Saturday morning cartoon aesthetic. Like they went for it and they nailed it to a way that like I don't think any other game has nailed that aesthetic in anything. Like I genuinely cannot believe a game looks and just the animation, because like that's another thing. I feel like animation is kind of like added in with this category, and the animation of that game is unreal.
Dude, it's between.
I got to stick to my guns, and with my favorite guy, I got to go with Hi-Fi Rush. Just give it.
Oh,
I'll take the loss.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
take the loss.
man.
It's between
Oh,
Hi-Fi Rush
weirdo.
and Alan Wake, actually, for me.
Alan Wake 2 is definitely one of the best looking games this year. I still think Spider-Man 2 looks better than it, but
That's crazy, but I'll accept
But
your
I could
opinion.
just
what's
see all
crazy about that?
Nothing.
all the
I said I'll
I just
accept
think
your
all the
opinion.
crazy critics are gonna go, Mario finally got a new art style and art direction. We got to give it that.
Hi-Fi, like
okay.
this is the Hi-Fi
Moon,
Rush.
I'm the Mario
category, though.
simp, and I don't think it wins this. I feel like it goes to Hi-Fi Rush.
Like this is the I feel like this is the category where it's like they made this for Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, almost. I mean, again, Alan Wake 2 is very aesthetically like it's not just like oh it looks really good. Like genuinely, like there are some really cool aesthetic like design choices with that game.
And the lighting, like there's a lot of like.
For sure.
I'll go Hi-Fi Rush, but I would not be surprised if Alan Wake won.
It's gonna go to Wonder. We're all gonna be disappointed.
Except
gonna go
that
Liza
she
P
predicted
somehow.
that.
Wait, was it Link's
Yeah,
good?
Liza. Okay, I do want to shut that up. Liza P is fucking like that. That is they went for a Bloodborne aesthetic. They nailed it.
Yeah, they did nail it. Zelda's
Tears of
your
the
What did I
spirit game.
predict?
Zelda
What did I
Zelda looks
predict?
good. You forgot what you predicted.
You predicted Mario.
You predicted Mario. I do think Zelda looks good, but I love that art style. It's the same as Breath of the Wild. It's like that's not even a dig against it. Like it's very much like they
And it works.
continued making it good. Yeah, it works. Like I'm not saying it's bad.
I'd call that art style timeless, to be honest. But yeah, there's just stuff that look better.
Yeah, I can argue that part, but hey. Best narrative. I have beef with one of the games here, but we'll get to it. For outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
Where's Hi-Fi Rush?
Okay, but I love that game.
Calm down.
I know. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I personally, it's Final Fantasy, but I think Phantom Liberty takes it.
Okay, this is my beef. Phantom Liberty, that's DLC. How Fusion is with remakes, that's me with DLC. DLC should not be eligible. That's so unfair.
Yeah, it's gonna win, but it's gonna win.
Yeah, fairly so. I think it has a chance.
This is a question. Was Zelda in 2018 up for best narrative?
No.
It wasn't.
2017.
It's very obviously that's a story for another time, but it's very weird that a game of the year isn't up for best narrative, which obviously not.
Oh my god!
Not
This
like
is
the other
my
thing.
god!
Dude, what is this bias?
What?
That's
Just
not what I'm
to give you
saying.
something. Overwatch 1, and that's a multiplayer game.
I mean,
Yeah, like Mr. I like story over gameplay. Why is your game
it's
set not
interesting why it's
narrative?
not here.
Oh my god.
Fusion, I'm with you to a certain point. Fusion, to a certain point, I'm by
Buddy,
your side.
look.
This is crazy.
Fusion would actually play a game with like zero gameplay. Like he just watches a movie. It's like, damn, this is my
I
game
thought
of the
Zelda
year.
had like good stories. I didn't know.
It doesn't have a good story. Like, I'm sorry.
I
Like
wasn't
it should
aware.
have gone to Spider-Man, but we all kind of agreed on our review that the pacing and just it felt a little rushed in places.
I'm gonna give it to Alan Wake too.
I
I'm just saying.
just
I
from
think
what
it's between Alan Wake and Baldur's Gate.
yeah, I'm thinking it's between Alan Wake and Baldur's Gate.
Alan Wake 2, I think that narrative.
Baldur's
I still need to
Gate.
play Alan Wake.
Gosh. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Baldur's Gate has a lot of choice, and the narrative is good. However, it's not Game of the Year worthy. I don't think the main story that it kind of tells, is like anything crazy. It's your standard D&D campaign, which just isn't like there's no big highlight points in the game that like.
Oh, you're crazy for that.
Level.
Oh, dude, already I had like 5 highlights. I don't know. Baldur's Gate 3, I think, is very high on that chance list. I think Alan Wake 2, though, I think people are going to go like, no, that should win because, that meta narrative, the way like it tells its story is fascinating. I think Alan Wake 2
I'm just thinking of how many awards is Alan Wake going to win. It could win a lot. I guess.
It's your game of the year. You should be happy.
I mean, I am very happy. I just like it's very. I don't know if critics. I don't know. I'm in a weird spot with Alan Wake. Where I absolutely adore Alan Wake, but I feel
you
like
gotta understand. Fusion critics were sucking that game off. They were like, "Oh, the gameplay doesn't matter, even if it's absolute dog shit," which it is. I'm saying that's my own personal bias, but no, like people were very, very high on that game, especially critics. Like they were extremely satisfied with that game from a narrative and a gameplay standpoint, even. So, I think critics are gonna go for narrative on Alan Wake.
I'm gonna go Baldur's Gate.
Okay, so Fusion's Baldur's Gate. Bench your Phantom Liberty. Moon. You're always the last
I'm gonna go with Alan Wake.
Okay, and Alan Wake. I'm just typing away. Ignore me. Best direction. This is always a weird category to me. Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom.
A newsflash.
I'm gonna make some enemies.
I just went Baldur's Gate because I think this is easily Alan Wake 2.
Interesting.
I think this is easily Alan Wake 2.
Well,
No, I
think
think it's
Spider-Man
Alan Wake 2 as
is
well.
just more Spider-Man 2018. Mario Wonder is just more Jumping Man Mario. Zelda is Tears is Breath of the Wild DLC. Alan Wake is still just shoot everything with a flashlight. So it's got to go to Baldur's Gate.
That's true. He's right. Moon's right.
No.
I think he's right. I think it's a two-man race, honestly, between Alan Wake and Baldur's Gate here. I think the best game direction is between those two.
No.
Okay. I hate this category because it is just runner-up for Game of the Year.
It usually is, yeah.
Except for that one time. Except for that 1 year where Last of Us 2 won Best Direction and Game of the Year. Still upset about that, by the way. I think this should be renamed to Best Game Director and like have the actual game directors like names and faces. I think that's just a more interesting like, oh, this is the director of the game. Give him the respect he deserves. Like because game director Sam Lake wins because that guy, national treasure. And I think what he did with Alan Wake 2, like it is his vision. Like that's kind of my viewpoint. Like 2019.
But is it a creative and innovative direction for the game?
It is.
You haven't played yet. There is you can change environments at a switch of a button.
It is crazy.
You think of like all the in-action acting, like how you switch from like the CGI cutscenes to like real human. Like it's impressive. Like I genuinely think it's the best game direction of the year. I don't think anything comes close. I haven't seen Baldur's Gate. I haven't played it, so I don't know. Baldur's Gate's impressive as in it's somehow
I
all
wouldn't know if it's a direction category,
but
I like it.
Like I think Alan Wake 2, like the things Alan Wake 2 does, no other video games do, and I think that's why it wins this category.
I mean, Zelda's also a contender. I think if we think Game of the Year is how we think it's going to go, I mean, it very much could be Zelda's runner-up and this one. What? We're not there. We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
You're right, though. It's some critics and a lot of people just really just came over all over that Ultra Hand stuff. It's still going on to this day.
Ultra Hand is sick. It's the best part of that game.
It's the
So
only
good.
part of that game that makes it worth playing.
Oh my god!
No,
shut
my
up.
God.
Played like an hour.
I
I
forgot
can't
he
hate
played
on
the game.
dude, I can't hate on Zelda because I have 2 actual Zelda haters here. So like I can't
What?
like
I've never
jokingly
hated
hate
on
on
Zelda in my life.
them.
I've never played Tears of the Kingdom. How do I know?
You
Like, what?
Breath
Fusion,
of the
be quiet.
Wild. Tears of the Kingdom is just $70 DLC. You played Breath of Tears of the Kingdom.
I mean, I guess. Those are your words, not mine.
This is Bench's this is his Joker moment. My man is going through it right now.
I don't know. I just felt like this was the Alan Wake 2 category. Like everything else was like
I'm gonna
obviously
go
it's
with
up
Alan
there,
Wake.
but
Okay, Moon's going Alan Wake. Bench, what did you go with?
Do you need to ask?
Tears of the Kingdom. Every time we
Oh,
load, he goes
I
for
got
it.
you. So you're going for Marvel Bench. Got it. Bro
Leaves
keeps
again.
leaving. Oh, what a horrible co-host. Last category. We've been going on this for a while. Game of the year. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Remake,
Why is it even here?
Super Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. So, Bench, you're going
Like,
with
I don't know what-
Spider-Man.
Fusion's going with Resident Evil.
Like
Of course.
Resident Evil wasn't even in that many categories for
It's
it
a
to just
good
be like,
game,
Game of the Year.
It's a good game. No, Resident Evil, like, I know
it's a
you
good
don't
game. I'll give
agree.
you that. It's a good game.
Oh, okay. Listen, my viewpoint is that Resident Evil 4 Remake is a different game from Resident Evil 4. They are not the same game. They are like I have played
I
both
heard
games.
Phantom Liberty was different than Cyberpunk, dude. That's all I'm
It's
saying.
not. That's DLC.
I heard it changed the game.
Oh my god, we're never gonna agree. Listen, I understand like your apprehension. If it was Dead Space or Super Mario RPG, then I would also agree. Like, oh, that's weird, because those are the same game. This is a different game. Resident Evil 4 Remake is legitimately like someone who has played the original extensively. It is a completely different game from top to bottom. Like you go through the same set pieces, sure, but it very much is like there is a lot of added content. There's a lot of new areas, and I prefer the original. I should specify that. I just like I don't know, in every way possible. I think it is a different game, and I think it completely deserves the spot because it's sitting at like a 93 on Metacritic.
That's fair. I just wish there was a best remake remaster category, and that's all I'm asking.
I agree.
Jeff.
I agree. That should definitely be something in the future, but not today.
Not today.
I think Baldur's Gate 3 wins. Sorry.
I definitely think it's between Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the
Alan
Kingdom.
Wake, yeah.
But I do think Alan Wake
Whoa,
could
whoa,
be
whoa.
like a dark horse.
Well, fucking Fusion sneaking into Alan Wake.
No.
I mean, listen.
I think it's a two-man race, and Alan Wake slowly creeping up.
I mean, is there a chance of a vote split? Because that was kind of what happened in 2019, where most of the votes kind of split and Sekiro won. It
Over what,
could.
Death
I think
Stranding?
the people that were liking Baldur's Gate also like Alan Wake. Therefore, they kind of choose between that, and the Zelda fans kind of take over Zelda.
The Zelda weirdos. God.
I mean, am I wrong?
We can never beat them, boys.
Those Nintendo fans probably voted for Mario, bro. Mario Wonders took the Zelda votes.
That's the thing is, yeah, the Nintendo vote could be split between those two. Now, if Mario Wonder wasn't here, then yeah, we could say all the Nintendo perverts were on Tears of the Kingdom. But the fact we're splitting them between Wonder and Zelda,
Which
Hey,
means
real quick.
which means PlayStation wins because all the Sony ponies only got one thing to vote for.
God bless the fact. By the way, there was controversy. Starfield wasn't in this lineup, and I just want to say, suck it, Starfield fans. You don't deserve it. That game sucks.
Xbox
sorry, I'm
hasn't
being
won a Game of
toxic.
the Year in 10 years, so.
I'm being toxic. I don't know. It's just like Starfield is like that was like a low 80s game in comparison to all these other like very highly reviewed games. Like Alan Wake 2 is the lowest rated one here. That was like an 89. I don't know. I think I look at this. I mean, this maybe I'm taking a victory lap because this is what I predicted would be the Game of the Year lineup. And I'm just going to pat myself on the back for that one. But yeah, I think Baldur's Gate 3 wins this. I think when it comes down to, I think a lot of people really love Zelda, but I think what's going to happen is, we gave it Game of the Year in 2017. Let's give it something new. Maybe
Let's
you
give it
feel like
something
it's unfair.
different, like a CRPG getting into the Game of the Year category with the
Yeah.
highest rated of the year. It's like, it's a little different. Let's vote for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Baldur's Gate.
I'm going to go Baldur's Gate.
Let's see Larian do it. What it's got to do.
I want you guys to know, if Zelda wins, Bench is never gonna let us live it
I mean,
down.
he
It's
won't,
just-
but it's
Because
the
Baldur's
underdog
Gate
story.
is like an 8 out of 10 at best.
It's an underdog story. You know what I mean?
It's
Like
a
if Zelda
9.
wins, you lost to a. I mean, if Zelda wins, he beat up a girl being Baldur's Gate. But if Baldur's Gate, you know what I mean? You lost to a girl.
I want
like, there's no
Baldur's
winning.
Gate to okay. I want Baldur's Gate to win because I just want to show other RPG devs like, hey, you can make a game with a game that has environments this beautiful that actually runs like somewhat comparable. Like we got gaslit by Bethesda for years. That's like, oh well, RPGs are too big, so we can't have gunplay or combat that's that good, or the games look that good. And Baldur's Gate's like, no, you can. It's like I just want Baldur's Gate to win just to show that that's the case.
Also, just feels like every year a lot of these games always get the nomination. Like the games that are like Zelda, the games that are like Spider-Man, these kind of games. You never see the kind of game like a Baldur's Gate ever get in these kind of categories, especially Game of the Year.
For sure.
So it'd be really cool to see a game like that take away the win.
Well, that's everything in regards to the nom. Quick, because we're already this is the first item and we're already like an hour in. But I will want to ask, what do you guys think will be revealed at the Game Awards? Like, kind of like any predictions in that regard, like for announcements and shit.
GTA 6.
No, it's not happening. It's happening before the show.
Death Stranding 2, more info.
Oh my god.
I could see that Death Stranding thing.
I think Death
I could
Rebirth
see
will
Death
be there.
Stranding.
Stranding too. I think Rebirth. I
Hades
think Death
2,
Stranding
like
too.
beta announcement release date.
Bench is going down the whole list.
I think.
Yeah, the list ready. I'm trying to think of a studio who I'm like they're gonna announce their new game, but I'm blanking.
I got one that I feel like is a lock. Elden Ring, dear. Makes sense.
Oh,
They have a
yeah.
strong relationship with
Yeah,
Jeff.
I think it gets
Oh,
release
yeah,
date.
Shadow of the Earth.
Baldur's Gate Shadow Drop.
Oh, Baldur's Gate Xbox
Shadow
could
Drop?
be here. Or
Yeah,
I mean,
wait,
it will
yeah.
be here.
I thought they
On
revealed that
Xbox.
the Xbox version isn't coming out till next year. Or is that just the physical version?
No,
No,
they
I think
said
that's
early-
the physical special
They
edition.
said early. They said
Yeah.
early December,
They
and they
tweeted
said
out a
tune
few
into the
days
Game
ago.
Awards for more.
Okay, yeah. So Baldur's Gate Shadow Drop sounds right for Xbox players.
Is there a studio where like that game?
What
No,
we're gonna get a lot
PlayStation
of
studio.
is we're gonna get a lot of CGI trailers because Jeff has outspokenly said
Oh yeah, he loves
he
CGI
promotes studios to put out CGI trailers here at the Game Awards for like recruitment.
trailers. I don't know.
So we're-
Game Awards is tough to predict for because it's literally like everyone.
It could
like
be
anyone.
anything, literally.
You know, Blue Point's next game. Ship it. No reveal.
Dude,
on
I
it.
want it. Why wouldn't you reveal that at
Okay, I have a
E3 though?
question.
Because the
It's not-
PlayStation showcases suck. So,
True.
I
He's
have a-
spitting.
I have a question. Was Last of Us 2
Yeah, you have a-
Remastered supposed to be at the Game Awards?
Nah.
um,
I mean, it had a lot of leaks and stuff, but I feel like you look at that, it always seemed like kind of a Twitter drop. Like, I don't know if they would have changed their plans to reveal it like a full month before. I think they would have just stuck
I
with
mean,
the.
Sony released like a 2-minute trailer on their YouTube.
Yeah, because I think
Wait,
it's almost
when
like they
does
want to
pre-
understate it.
Doesn't pre-orders go up like the 8th or something?
no, December
It's December.
5th, I thought.
Yeah,
so
if that's the case, then
I think this was definitely
Awards.
probably like not at the Game Awards, but like right before it. And then they were like, okay, wait 2 days for like the pre-orders to go. Now, the fact that we're like 3 weeks away from pre-orders means they put that out early because of the leaks.
Yeah, fair.
Because why put out a trailer for like something like this 3 weeks in advance of your being able to do pre-orders? I think that's you normally do something like that within a week or even a couple days.
All right.
So yeah, this was definitely put out early because of the leaks.
I have a prediction, and this is kind of me wishing this into existence. It's Software coming in with Doom Year Zero. We heard a lot of rumors about that. This is frame when it's supposed to release. I think they want to show the trailer for Doom Year Zero kind of as like a 2024 hype thing. I also think Xbox in general is going to show up.
I would say
I think,
Xbox.
I think Hellblade.
Hellblade?
Oh, Avowed's
Hell-
I think
If
Hellblade's
Hellblade doesn't
always
get a
there.
date, I swear to God, if it doesn't get a date, that game doesn't exist.
I
Well,
think
perfect.
Doom is I think Doom Year Zero is an Xbox Showcase announcement because they have too
Yeah, they
much
have
on their
those.
plate that they need to get out first.
They have those developer directs too. I don't know. Again, that's wishing into existence. I just want a new Doom game.
I think it's gonna be a lot more updates than announcing newer stuff.
I think we do see like I would expect to see like that Judas game from last year. I'd expect to see that
No,
again.
that game is too far away.
Really, you
The-
don't think to see that again?
I think it's closer than we think.
Most
'Cause
people,
that
I
game's-
think they already listed as like a 2025 game.
Yeah, but I can see like them doing another trailer for it here. I mean, that game looks cool. Like you can tell it has a lot of Bioshock influences, so I'm interested to see more of it. I think Hades 2 is here for sure as
The
well.
PS5
But
Pro.
anything that was in the most anticipated category, I think is going to be here. Like I think they have trailers for all those games.
It's very hard because we don't
Yeah.
know like we don't know what studios they're working on. It's a very like dark time in the industry where like 2024 after the first few months, like we know absolutely nothing. Like we don't know what's
Yeah.
Paper
I don't know
Mario.
what I mean, yeah,
Paper
but I
Mario.
doubt that's you. Like
I don't
Jeff
know.
usually has some cool. I'm like Jeff usually has some really cool world premieres that it's the first time you've ever seen them, and it's always games you've never even heard of or never even knew were like what's happening.
I
So
mean,
that's probably gonna happen again. So
they could have From Software's next game. Like even like after the Elden Ring DLC, they show From Software's next game even after that, whether it's like Elden Ring 2 or Bloodborne 2. Hey,
oh, I
maybe.
think Spider-Man DLC could be here.
Oh yeah, we
That's
did make that
possible.
prediction. I mean, Spider-Man DLC is almost like we don't even know if that's gonna happen.
I mean,
Like
yeah,
maybe they
we're
wait
just
for a
assuming,
Miles
yes.
Morales type deal. But I think it could be here. I don't know. It's I'm excited. I'm really excited for Game Awards. I think it's gonna be a fun show this year.
It'll be fun.
Especially with all the
It's
announcements.
annoying. It's always on a Thursday night, which is very
Yep.
weird. But
Which
Yeah,
sucks
like,
because
why
I
not
work
Friday
really
night?
late. So I work late on those days, so I'm gonna be watching it at work on my phone.
oh, yeah.
It is weird. Why don't
It always
they do
goes it goes to like midnight, and everyone's like, I gotta go to work tomorrow morning.
Yeah, why don't they do Friday night? Like it's like, does Jeff just have a thing for Thursdays?
I think a lot of people around like Thursday. They're obviously it works across like all entertainment. Like Thursday night football, there's Thursday night like NBA. Like
Yeah.
Thursday for some reason just works. I don't know why.
Because Thursday night can sometimes be like Friday night or something, like go into Saturday after a work day on Friday.
Sometimes Thursday is
Some-
Friday.
Yeah.
Guys, sometimes Tuesday night is kind of like a Friday night. What
Well,
does that
time
mean?
zones and stuff.
I'm sorry, that's just the funniest quote right now. We gotta put that as like a header right there.
Sometimes Thursday is Friday.
We talked long enough about Game Awards. I think we need to move on. Any last minute thoughts, or are we all good to talk about
We're
some
good.
other stuff?
Go play Hi-Fi Rush.
Fusion, wake up. I want to do this story next.
You thought I was asleep.
I always assume you're asleep. Last of Us Part 2. Wake up.
Is that the next news story?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this one now.
Oh, okay.
The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is coming to PS5 on January 19th, 2024. This comes from Jonathan Dornbush at the PlayStation blog. Look at that. The team here at Naughty Dog is excited to announce The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, the definitive way to experience the acclaimed Last of Us sequel originally released in 2020. Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is designed to let you dig deeper into both its development and mechanics. Chief amongst these is a brand new mode called No Return, a roguelike survival mode designed to let players prove their mettle in randomized encounters and experience The Last of Us Part 2's combat in a fresh experience. This mode includes a host of playable characters to choose from, some for the first time in the Last of Us franchise, which you may have spotted in our trailer, who each come with their own traits to suit different playstyles. Each run will offer a new chance to decide what rewards you get after each encounter, how to spec out your character, and more. Unlock more characters, skins, and more as you progress to use in the mode. Customize your own runs and compete on a global leaderboard. Man, global leaderboards are still a thing. For those who have already played Part 2, we know the included sections feature a playable guitar were a favorite for many, and you burgeoning rock stars impressed us with your performance. So we've introduced a new guitar-free play mode, which lets you strum the host of unlockable instruments, use audio FX pedals to modulate your performance. And for both new and returning players interested in learning more, we've designed Part 2 a comprehensive dive behind the scenes of how our studio brought this game to life. and new set of Lost Levels in Part 2 Remastered allows players a unique chance to check out some playable stuff from the game. Now, there's a whole lot more in this article. They add like stuff in regards to like loading times, DualSense, developer comment, and also like native 4K and fidelity mode. Like, there's a lot of stuff they wanted to add to this remaster. I'm gonna let you guys talk. I don't have much to say. This just kind of seems as an expected thing. But yeah, any thoughts on y'all?
The only
Yeah,
thing I want to
I'm-
bring up is just a quick thing. Is from what I saw mentioned was this was made by a very small team inside Naughty Dog because apparently it's all hands on deck for their original IP. And to me, that's the most exciting thing. It's like, oh yeah, they're just kind of chewing this out. They gave this to a bunch of apparently like new people to like grit their teeth on, I guess this is the phrase to use. So this was given to like a small team of like a bunch of newer people, and everyone else is working on the new IP. So that's the news for me right there. It's like I don't care about Last of Us 2 Remastered, but the fact that Naughty Dog is actively working on their new IP game is the more exciting news for me.
Yeah, I pretty much played one when it got the remake remaster on PS5 and waited for the eventual 2-port or remaster or whatever. So it's here, and I already own 2, so I was going to pay $10 to play the PS5 version. So I'm excited to play that for the first time. However, I do think Naughty Dog's next game is just The Last of Us 3. Sorry, Moon.
No, they said it was the original IP.
I was just saying, where did you read that? I didn't know about that. That's cool. Do you know where you read that?
I'll have to go find it, but
Either way, that's cool. I'm down for a new IP. I just didn't know. At least that's good to know that for the nerds who are like making this remaster took all the time and effort away from them doing new IP. It just proves to show that things like this, projects like this, you don't need all the hands on it. You know what I mean? Like you just need
yeah, this was given to the noobs.
yes, 5%,
Imagine being like the
10% of
noob
your team.
developer and be like, okay, you're gonna go work on a remaster of Last of Us Part 2. Like what?
Yeah, like 5 to 10% of the team can be like, hey, we're gonna go work on this remaster and like build this new cool roguelike mode, which I hope is like as cool. I remember
that one.
Uncharted had something similar called like Survivor or something. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, there was survival. I don't think it was roguelike, but
Well, yeah, I think because it was like not obviously before roguelikes were like bigger, but like
it was kind of because like Uncharted doesn't have the upgrades and systems of Last of Us 2 in that regard.
Yeah.
It's very much you just pick up weapons and shit. So it gets semi-similar. I fucking love survival in that game though. That was my favorite thing ever.
But that's cool to know. Like, well, if Alex Flower Moon was right, that like only a small part of the team had to work on this.
Yeah, I heard about that as well.
Okay, I didn't know this.
I think a lot of people are semi-frustrated just because it feels like this is 3 remasters for 2 games. I just think, like, okay, you look at all the remasters. Like, I wasn't a big fan of Part 1 personally and how that was handled. Last of Us Remastered makes sense. That was like taking it to PS4. There was no backwards compatibility. And this one honestly makes sense too. I almost feel like it would have been a better idea to not market it as remastered. Market, like, just say, hey, Last of Us 2 is having a PS5 version. It's coming to PlayStation 5, and you're getting the $10 upgrade, but maybe don't say
Do you think
remastered.
director's
Also,
cut would have been a better word?
yeah, with director's cut, exactly. I mean,
I think
this feels more like a director's cut than like Death
oh, it
Stranding.
definitely does, but it gives me more
Yeah.
Naughty Dog. I think Neil specifically likes the titles of his video games, where it's like
my god,
The Last of Us, then remastered, then like Part 1, and like now it's like you have The Last of Us Part 1 and then The Last of Us Part 2 remastered. Like they look really good
so
next to each other.
Stupid. It's so stupid.
So like, and I think
Sorry.
as much as we meme it, I think Naughty Dog does take still like prestige in their titles and how they deliver things, and just like this cover art is sick. Like this box art,
Oh yeah, it's way
It's
better than the
absolutely-
original box art.
it is so good. And if they're doing the exact same thing they did with Part 1, they're making like a small character model inside of the big character model, and it's the small character model inside of a big character model, and in both games it's Ellie. Like Ellie is the bigger model in both of these new covers. So like it's very obvious what they're going for, and it's very much they're going for a package where for the TV show and for the new fans, all they have to do, like if you own the PS5, now all you have to do is like Part 1 and Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. That's all you need. Like it's going to be very easy to be like, what 2 games do I need to like enjoy the Last of Us experience? They're going to be right next to each other in the store. Very simple for customers to be like, these are what I'm going to play. Like it all makes sense. And the $10, no one can complain. It could be free, yes, but no one can complain that if you own this game already, it's $10. You're getting a lot of cool stuff for $10. You're getting
Oh,
the
yeah,
entire new
$10
mode for $10.
It almost feels
Like,
like kind of the same amount of content we got from Ghost of Tsushima and Death Stranding, and I don't really think we got nearly as much pushback when it came to those games getting their director's cuts.
yeah,
So,
and those games were a year out and not almost 4
yeah,
like this one.
that's what's funny. It's like this is like almost 4 years from Last of Us 2 versus Ghost of Tsushima, which was like a year, and then Death Stranding, which was like 2 years. But it's like, oh, Last of Us, another one.
Just,
And I
yeah,
understand
it's
the
just because
frustration.
there's a
but
lot. There's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, a lot of baggage.
Yeah,
with
I
that
don't. I
franchise.
can't find where I found it. Like you type in Last of Us 2 small team or whatever, and it's just like
I saw the same thing.
I mean, if you guys,
yeah.
which is fine. I'm not. Yeah, I'm just surprised I never.
it
I'm
all just
surprised
goes
I
back
haven't
to
seen
factions.
people. Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't seen people.
Now
It seems right
where's
now.
Factions?
Well, that's what the Naughty Dog whole thing right now. If these guys were working on this little remaster, Faction seems like a smaller team, so it makes sense that they've already moved their majority, like I don't know, 85% of their workforce into whatever that next game is. So at least it's good to know that
Honestly,
Naughty Dog is full on, like something else is coming. It might be in part 3, but you guys did say it was a new IP in the tweet or
At least
whatever
that's
you
what I
read.
read. Is that
God,
they're
I
working on
hope
a new IP.
it's gonna be part 3. It's gonna be like, I'm sorry, Neil. Like, this man just said, "Oh yeah, we have the script for part 3. It's just whether or not we decide to make it." It's like, you're making it. Just say you're
I
making
think
it.
the
Silly.
thing is, I think they need part 3 to be out by the time the show catches up. So I think
Oh
it
my
takes.
God, Hollywood again.
I mean, I think that's how they're thinking. Is like, for one, I think this is why this comes out in January, because Last of Us season 2 of the TV show starts filming again in January. So that's filming again. The season 2 has to come out within the next probably 18 months on television. Like, they're going to run out of time where the TV show is going to get further past the video games, and it could be a Game of Thrones situation at that point where, like, now your TV show is past the book writing, and once that happens, we saw what happened with Game of Thrones. So, like, it's very,
And we see what happens to One Piece.
yeah, it's very weird that they have to balance what they're doing now, which is why I think if Naughty Dog has, like, in the back of their mind, there's a clock counting down, they're probably thinking, we need to get part 3 out the door first so that the TV show can do what it can do, and then we can be done with The Last of Us. Like, I assume a trilogy would be like, it would be the end, and then they would be full on, like, hey, go back to Uncharted, go to a new IP, like,
No.
do something.
As the Uncharted fan, stay away from Uncharted.
And there's nothing. I wish I
4
could.
ended perfectly.
I mean, they would never do it, but there's nothing that stops Naughty Dog from working on 2 games at once.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure
You're-
they're both working on the new IP and Last of Us 3 at the same time. It's just which one is the bigger work for Sun and which one is their more priority right now.
It's gonna take a long time for either game to come out.
That's what I
feel.
mean. It takes years for these dang Naughty Dog games to come out, and I feel like.
And remember, we saw the reports that this
Yeah.
thing, the new IP is a sci-fi game.
You know, it's weird. We kind of talk about how long Naughty Dog games take to make. The time between Lost Legacy and Last of Us 2 wasn't that long. It was like 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, comparatively speaking, like, Naughty Dog's actually a bit faster in comparison. But also, that was kind of back when they had like some issues with crunch, reportedly. So,
I mean, yeah, I guess because what
yeah.
if we put in an account, Uncharted 4 was 2016, Lost Legacy was 17,
2017. Yeah. That
then
was like
Last
the
of Us
year
Part
earlier.
2 was 2020, Part
then
1
it was-
remake was 2022. So I
No,
guess
part 1 was 2021, wasn't it?
No, 2022. It was last year.
You know, I probably would have been angrier about it, but I was like, I got Elden Ring. I'm happy.
So like, I mean, granted, so technically with Part 3, granted it's a remake and a remaster, they've had 5 games since 2016. That's 5 games in 7 years. So
Yeah, no,
maybe
they're
they're not as
surprisingly-
slow as some people think.
They're surprisingly faster than most developers. I think we just gotta stake their games are longer because of how good they look. Interesting.
Yeah, I just feel like yeah, maybe you're right. They've definitely slowed down from the releasing an Uncharted game every 2 years. Like,
Yeah, really. God bless. No, that was kind of their big thing. They made an Uncharted. Like, they had a schedule ever since the first Crash Bandicoot game. every 2 years they had a new game. Like that was their thing. It was 2 year, 2 year, 2 year, 2 year. And I remember that cycle broke from Uncharted 3, oh no, The Last of Us to Uncharted 4. And I was still, as a kid, one of the darkest days of my life was that Uncharted 4 delay from 2015 to 2016. And like looking back, it was pretty obvious it was going to get delayed. But I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, I guess they are pretty fast. For some reason, it just feels in my head like kind of like Rockstar. It just feels like we get one
Yeah.
Naughty Dog title per generation, which is definitely not true. But for some
Yeah, which
reason,
isn't the case.
it
Yeah.
just feels like that, where you're like, well, here's your one Naughty Dog title. See you next gen. Like,
It's interesting. A lot of stuff.
hey,
Cooking.
uncapped frame rates. I read that. Uncapped frame
Uncapped.
rates.
That's exciting.
That's what we like to see.
Moving on. Suicide Squad.
I'm up.
I don't. Yeah, this is Moon. I know you watched this whole showcase. I watched a bit of it, like about I'd say 10 minutes of it.
I watched one of it.
Yeah, it this was a game that feels like it has a lot going against it. There was some extra details I wanted to go over, but I mean, what did you think of that Suicide Squad gameplay?
I mean, it's definitely they're definitely trying to course correct the last 2 years or so of terrible marketing that they've had so far, and I think I'm just drawn in by the presentation of it, whereas they definitely were hiding the live service aspect of it. Like this almost looks like if you were to just take this video by itself and forget that it was announced as a live service game, you would think it was just a open world 4-person co-op game of like Back for Blood or Left 4 Dead or any of those kind of games. Because the combat looks fun, the mobility looks amazing. Like just have the way all 4 characters have different ways of getting around. Each 4 characters are pretty unique, and not so much the shooting because they all just have guns for the most part, and they have like one melee attack. But the traversal and getting around is what separates everything and everyone. So everyone's gonna have their favorite of getting around. Like King Shark jumps around, Harley Quinn swings on like a little bat radar thing that she stole. Captain Boomerang has like a teleporter. So it's all very interesting. And I don't know, maybe it's just me being still in the superhero schmuck, but I think a lot of people might find the dialogue, like they showed a really interesting cutscene at the very beginning of the game where they come up through the Hall of Superheroes, like the Justice League Museum, and the whole place is torn apart. But they're like, you know what? Let's loot the place, and that's where they explain what's his name, Deadshot having a jetpack now, and Harley Quinn having this grappling hook and all that. So, and just the dialogue and the interactions between the characters, what really sold me. I'm like, okay, this seems like fun just to watch just for the cutscenes. So that's what drew me in, and then the gameplay. It seems like the day-to-day or enemy-to-enemy gameplay was kind of generic. It's just a lot of shooting, setting up a combo with your melee attack, do some special move. I'm pretty sure that's going to get grindy and monotonous after a while. But I don't know. It seems like the perfect game to play with a group. I don't know if it supports up to 4 players. I hope it does. Like if you could actually scrounge together a group of 4 people,
it should. Yeah,
it should.
it's co-op. Yeah,
it could be a lot of fun because you can actually go like all 4 of you can go super far out from each other and just tackle different missions at different times. I think from what they said, so you can either stick together and do a mission one at a time, or you can just go out and do your own thing. So, and the story is pretty standard. It's Brainiac. It's him taking over the Justice League.
It all comes down to that dialogue.
Yeah, it does come down to the dialogue, and it depends on your tolerance for the superhero schmuck quippy kind of writing.
Oh, it's Jover for me then, man, because I'm kind of getting tired of that shit.
It wasn't egregious, but it's definitely still there.
It's gonna be interesting. Yeah,
I say at least watch the cutscene. That's though maybe don't watch the whole 20-minute thing, but at least watch.
I watched the cutscene.
Intro cutscene.
Yeah, I got up to that point. It has good vibes, like in that regard.
Yeah,
I just can't get excited for a live service.
That's my thing. Is I want to know, where does the live service come in? Because so far, like I said, if you were to just to watch this and you had no prior knowledge of the game, it would have looked pretty good. Like it looks like a good open world co-op game. So now I want to know, where does the live service come in? Is it literally just updated missions, maybe a new area, and then just a shitload of cosmetics? Because if it's that, then I don't mind so much because I'm never going to touch that. I'm just going to play the story and be done with it. The other problem with this game is the fact it's a $70 game for a store with a slight story and a live service that we still need an explanation of. and it's coming out in like just the shitload of a bunch of other games.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for that game. I kind of expect another delay. Honestly, I don't know if it's gonna hit that date. I feel like they
The
may
fact they're
'cause
so
the game
dedicated
is
now, they put out so
the
many
game's
videos now.
done.
Yeah, it's like it's done, and now they're making this series. Like, we're going to introduce our game in this multi-month video series, and they said
Yeah,
when our game launches on February 2nd, like, and they're saying
it
all these, and
almost
then
feels like
suddenly
commitment.
it sounds like commit, like we're releasing this day.
There was some extra details. Paul Tassi kind of rounded up some of the pre-order details. Pre-order and get classic outfits and 72-hour early launch access. I feel like that's a thing for all games now. Like games going forward, I think they want to do that early launch access thing now. Jumping into the deluxe unleashes even more mayhem with the Justice League outfits for the squad, 3 notorious weapons, 4 weapon dolls, and 1 battle pass token. Open world exploration, drop into an expansive and dynamic open world metropolis ravaged by Brainiac's invasion and terrorized by the heroes who once protected it. Unique gameplay experience gameplay that brings together a unique fusion of traversal, gunplay, melee combat, etc. Immersive DC story campaign, experience a new story set in the DC universe, featuring your favorite characters and villains like you've never seen them before, and continuously evolving Metropolis. That's the big one. Post-launch, players can expect a continuously evolving Metropolis with free new playable villains, environments, weapons, in-game events, and more, all included with the purchase of the base game.
Yeah, no, thank you. If anything, that just tells me, yeah, buy this game in like 6 months when the other characters are out and a bunch of other stuff, and just play it all in one go instead of play the story then have to come back later.
And Paul Tassi puts this kind of blunt. This is pretty close to identical to the Avengers model that didn't work.
Yep.
I want to be
Guys,
excited.
but what if it's good?
That's the thing is, though, this has the
It's gonna
potential
be.
for a
I feel like
good
the
story
base
mode, at
is
least.
good. Yeah, like there is something good there because Rocksteady is an extremely talented developer. They just had the misfortune of having a game published by W who are on the fast track for the worst gaming publisher right
They
now.
should
Right
have
next to Embracer
the
Group.
Nemesis system.
Oh
They
God
should throw
bless.
it in
We'll
there.
talk about that one. We'll say that. We'll talk about the Nemesis system.
Like I said,
Because
this game's going to be good for like $30-$40 in like 6 months when most of the content is out.
I'm looking at the content now, like the YouTube. I'm just now looking at it, and like it does just look better than what I remembered, but
It looks a lot better than the first gameplay showcase.
it still
But even
feels like
then,
this game not a game where I'm going to be able to load up solo and have a good time.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I would need to have a group of friends to play this game
Yeah.
with, and even then, it's like, is this just
But-
going to be one of those games where you're playing it with your friends, but you're just basically using it as like nothing while you're
Yeah.
talking to your friends? Like it's just the background.
Well, the problem with co-op games, I always play co-op games where the story doesn't matter. That's why I can't play Baldur's Gate 3 with friends because it's like
I
I'm
agree
trying to
with
listen to
you.
the cutscene and my friend's talking about how big his dick is. It's like, well, it's gonna be impossible to pay attention. Like I don't know, it's tough.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's like, yeah, I don't know. It has a
From what I heard, the adventure story mode was decent.
yeah. I heard that too. I know like Kyle Bossman like unironically loved the Avengers game. Like
Oh yeah, people really liked Avengers, the base story mode, and then they were like, "Oh, what about all the other stuff?" And they're like, "What other stuff?"
It definitely sounds like it's setting up to be the exact same thing, where it's like, oh yeah, the story mode is really good, and it was fun playing with people or just by yourself with the 3 AIs, and then they're like, oh yeah, what about the live service stuff? It's like,
Nah.
I'm rooting for this game now. I
I
wanted to
want
hate
it.
on this
I
game,
want it to
but
be
not
good.
for some reason. I'm rooting for it now.
I mean, it's
Also, if
Rocksteady.
any of us play, I'm playing Captain Boomerang.
God no. Why do they keep making him a thing? He's not a
I
thing.
don't know who that is, so
I'm King Shark.
I barely know who that is.
You
Is
can be King
is
Shark.
Harley Quinn in this?
Yes, fucking Harley Quinn is in everything. Oh, I hate her so much.
Doesn't she swing around like Spider-Man?
That's what I just
They
said.
also,
Yeah,
he
did
never
say that.
listens. He never listens. It's insane.
And I
Moving
don't know
on.
why. I literally
Oh,
asked that as I'm watching the YouTube video of Mark of Harley Quinn, so I know why I asked that.
Yeah, okay.
I was just
I'm
thinking of
glad-
Margot Robbie. Move on, guys.
Who?
Margot Robbie.
Who's that?
You just move
Harley
on.
Quinn.
What? Who is
You know
that?
that she plays Harley Quinn in the movies.
In
She
what?
was Barbie in the Barbie movie.
She was Barbie in the Barbie movie. She's Harley Quinn in like the
I
Harley
watched
Quinn
Suicide
movies.
Squad. I watched the James Gunn Suicide Squad. Was she Harley Quinn in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was okay. Moving on. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake is dead. God bless.
Is it
The
though?
We'll say the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake is dead. This comes from Mike Straw over at Insider Gaming. KOTOR is dead. At least that's what Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb, friend of the show, had to say on Friday morning during his Game Mess morning show. Quote, I just want to clear this up. This game is not being worked on right now, Grubb said around the 57-minute mark. Just full stop. This game is not being worked on in any way at any studio. Originally announced back in 2021, the KOTOR remake has been in development turmoil from the start. It was first in development by Aspyr before Embracer shifted the game over to Saber in August 2022. Listen, guys, I think we could just all agree. Embracer is the worst publisher ever. They are just dog shit. I mean, we talked about it with Time Splitters last week, and it's like, these guys just don't know what they're doing. They bought a bunch of IPs. They acted like they were going to stroll into the industry like it was easy, and then they realized they do not have the resources to handle it. And KOTOR, very unfortunate. Dark was really interested in this game, and he very much said it's nice to have closure on it. Because I think it's almost guaranteed at this point that this game is never coming out. I feel like everyone is to blame in this regard, but mostly Embracer Group. Because there was a co-marketing deal with Sony. I think in Sony's regard, what they looked at, they were like, we cannot really salvage this. We're just gonna pretend we have we were never involved in this project. This is all Embracer Group. We don't even know what a Star Wars is. That's kind of my theory of what Sony's kind of viewpoint on the situation is. I mean, I don't know. It's nice to just kind of be told, yeah, no one's working on this thing. It's all just counting down to the official cancellation of this game, which I think is coming sooner rather than later.
I remember how hype it was at that Sony
man.
showcase when KOTOR
was so hyped.
announced, and it was a PlayStation exclusive, and every Sony bounty on the planet was like, "Get wrecked, Xbox!"
Listen,
Xbox wins again.
Is this Victory Moon?
Well,
Nobody
we're not sure if we trust this guy named Jeff Grubb. First, the Mass Effect stuff.
I just called him friend of the show.
Not friend of me.
Fusion, Mass Effect is 2029. I will say,
Mass Effect 2029 and now a cancel project. I'm on to him. I'm on to him.
I will say, this is disappointing because I've tried to play KOTOR and I found it just very crusty and kind of hard to play. So I guess I'm not gonna play it now.
I'm gonna play it. I'll play the original one of these days, but it is just
crusty.
Unfortunate. Oh my god, man! I didn't ask you. I'm playing Vice City. I don't give a shit about crust. But no, I think it's gonna be one of those interesting things where it's just just cancel it, man. Just stop trying to lead people on. It's clear this thing's never coming out. It's unfortunate because there's a lot of people that grew up on this game. That's it's one of their favorite games of all time, and now they won't get that RE2 style remake for it that I feel like it deserves. And also in relation to this, we also heard Aspyr says Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 restored content Switch DLC was canceled since, quote, a third party objected. This comes from Brian over at Nintendo Everything. Aspyr has commented on the cancellation of the Star Wars KOTOR 2 restored content DLC for Switch. The company has been facing a class action lawsuit over the situation. Malachi Mickelson said he felt completely duped and is seeking damages over alleged violations of California consumer law. 17 more plaintiffs joined the suit since then. Aspyr believed it would be able to release the content, but a third party objected and Aspyr was unable to do so. I'll ask you guys right now, who is that third party?
Probably a random holder within that has some stake in it. For some reason, they just didn't want it to happen.
I feel like, well, maybe not some. I'm not saying who's the guy. I think it's gonna be someone I think it's Disney, almost. Maybe that's biased because I don't really like Disney, but I feel like Disney were the ones who were yeah, get rid of this thing. Maybe that's.
Yeah,
maybe they didn't want fan content in a Disney properly integrated.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's tough to say.
Interesting. Some hater. It was probably Sony.
It's probably Sony.
Sony was
this
like,
guy gets a PC. This guy gets a
We're-
PC and he's done. He's like, fuck Sony.
No, like, no, we're making a KOTOR remake. Nothing else surrounding this franchise needs content right now. Or maybe it was Embracer.
It's always Embracer. Moving on. Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming has this one. Dragon's Dogma 2 release date is March 22nd, 2024. The Pan-European Game Information Board, PEGI, has revealed that Dragon's Dogma 2 release date is on March 22nd, 2024. In addition to the listing, which appears to have been published prematurely before the official announcement, it has been revealed that the game will have in-game purchases. Dragon's Dogma 2 was first revealed in May 2023. And a new showcase for the game will take place on November 28th, 2023, which will contain around 15 minutes of information and footage. I think you guys are pretty excited for this one. I've heard
Oh yeah. Everything we see from this game just gets me more excited. But it being with March means I don't have a lot of time to play the first one, so I got to get on that for sure.
Me and you both. We gotta figure out the time to
Same
play
here.
that game. Like,
It's on that backlog list. I heard a
it.
lot of good things.
I don't think it's short either. So
It's like 30
Yeah, I
to
know
40.
someone. No, I mean, fellow co-host of that was on Slice of Anime, Navi. I think it took him like 50 hours to beat.
oh great.
It was on Slice of Gaming as well. Come on, man.
Oh, he was.
Wow.
Bench never pays attention to
Forgets his
anyone
own
other than
co-host.
himself.
Yeah,
My
this
God.
according to how long to beat, main story is 33, main plus sides is 55.
Have
Not
fun,
short-
Fusion.
Yeah, not short by any means. And it
I-
came out in 2013.
I'm excited though. I mean, like everything we've seen in Dragon's Dogma 2. I mean, that game looks fucking.
It does look
spectacular.
awesome. Like every time I see it, it looks like it just looks. It came out of nowhere for me. Like I always knew of Dragon Dogma, the first game, but like the and I only really knew about it because Easy Allies. But
Yeah.
this entire like marketing from Dragon Dogma 2 finally getting revealed to like the closer we get to release, it's like my excitement rises like by the week where I'm like, dude, this game's going to be sick. And like Capcom just being like
Capcom.
fantastic at what they've done for the
You
past
can't-
5 years.
You can't have an easier sell than an open world game in the RE engine.
Yeah,
That's
like,
man, that RE engine. I'm
yeah,
excited.
it's gonna be sick. And all like the weird cult Dragon Dogma following of the first game, where like they've been waiting 10 years for a sequel, and they always talk about how it's the RPG of the last decade that no one played, and like it's interesting.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good one. Was this the unannounced Capcom title? I guess it
That's
was
my
announced.
issue. Is like that's
No.
annoying.
I don't think so.
What else can come out then?
That's the thing. I think I saw Benji Sells on Twitter. I'm pretty sure I forget, or maybe it was a comedy. One of them talked about that
It may have been a
unannounced thing.
mistranslation.
Yeah, it could have been a mistranslation of like whenever they translated the writing over, or like whatever they had to translate. It could have been a mistranslation, and maybe unreleased wasn't even the word used. So this very well could be the March. Like
It'd be insane to
game.
release. Yeah,
'Cause
they'd
what
be
else
insane to
could they
release this and Monster Hunter.
I was just saying, what else would they, unless at TGA, unless a Monster Hunter gets announced, but are you really announcing another game that's going to sell millions of dollars and release it within the same 3 months of Dragon Dogma 2? That seems just insane to me.
Agree. Honestly, this game came out sooner than I expected too. Like,
Oh yeah,
March
it's
of
been-
2024.
When it was first announced, it was like we have a T-shirt with a logo, and that's about
Yeah.
it.
That was like what 2021. I think they did that T-shirt announcement. So, God bless Capcom. They are one of the best. Very clear to say.
was it even? I felt like it might have been last year. Maybe you're right.
If
Now.
it no, I don't think it was last year. That it might have been. Someone check.
I felt like they had T-shirts, but they also had gameplay like immediately or something.
No. I
Oh,
remember. It was just a T-shirt. Moving on. Remedy. Fusion, get excited. Remedy is. Oh, this comes from Shinobi over on Twitter. Remedy is rebooting its free-to-play multiplayer co-op game, codenamed Vanguard, into a full premium game with a strong co-op component, now codenamed Kestrel. Quote, we have made some great strides in free-to-play and multiplayer development in Vanguard. After a lot of careful consideration, we believe that taking on a new direction where the game will be built more around Remedy's core competences is the right way to go. We are creating another distinct Remedy game with Tencent's continued support and making a great cooperative multiplayer experience. I mean, this sounds pretty exciting to me. Getting rid of free-to-play? Hell yeah. Fusion, how do you feel?
Yeah, if this means less live servicey and more like a co-op single player like narrative experience, that's awesome. Like that's because this was the rumored, not really rumored, like the confirmed like multiplayer game that was going to take place in the Control universe. So like,
Yeah. Which means
if they're
nothing because all of their games are in the Control
I was gonna
universe.
say, so if this game is going to build upon the quote unquote Remedy universe at this point, it's going to be like that's going to be sick either way. Like I'm
Yeah.
interested in this, and like Control's gameplay is really really good. I know you don't like Alan Wake 2 gameplay that much, but like
Yeah.
if the gameplay is anything like Control or like how they're dealing like with that type of gameplay, this would be like super sick as like a co-op
Just give me cool
narrative
power.
shooter with your friends. You know what I mean?
I mean, it comes. You say narrative co-op. I mean, we talked earlier about like kind of the issue with doing co-op
Yeah.
with friends. So I hope there's a single player mode at the very least. So it's like, okay, if I do want to just like do the story by myself, there is that case, which I assume will be the case.
Which because they use the word with strong co-op components, so it makes it sound like you probably still can play single player. Like it doesn't say co-op only, or then like I assume I don't know. Who knows? This is very. I saw a lot of people running with this on Twitter and being like, this is worse news. Like this is more live service, which I thought it was the opposite.
Guys,
Like
you gotta
I
read
thought
that.
I thought this was way like the opposite. A free-to-play multiplayer co-op game sounds way more live service than a premium game with strong co-op components.
I'm excited. I want to see it. And Remedy has a lot of projects in them.
I know you gotta say I
they got a
saw
lot.
a lot of the Alan Wake team, the Alan Wake 2 team, a lot of them just moved to Control 2. So it's interesting to see what everyone's doing
Damn.
over there.
That's a good
Yeah.
studio to look at. Moving on. We got a bit of negative news here. Amazon is getting rid of its content channel amid larger games layoff. This comes from Jay Peters over at The Verge. Amazon is cutting just over jobs in its games division and making some changes to its games initiative, according to a memo sent by employees of VP of Amazon Games Christoph Hartmann. The changes include shutting down its Crown channel that streams on Twitch, closing its game growth effort that channel helps game makers market their products, and refocusing the work it does with its free games offered through Prime Gaming. There's a lot more to it, but I mean, like, just I think we're gonna immediately assume like this is just overall another, as per usual, layoffs in the industry keeps happening. And as I said multiple times, I think it's just going to keep getting worse before it gets better. I have hope that it gets better, but right now we're kind of sitting here like hoping it's ending. I hope it ends soon. That's kind of my viewpoint right now.
The best year in gaming, also the
The
most
worst year
layoffs
in
in
gaming.
gaming. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it seems like it never ends, and like you said, it probably continues to never end until it gets better. Like until whenever that is, who knows? But
There was a lot of growth around the pandemic, a lot of hirings, and now that we're kind of sitting here, or where we are right now, tech companies are like, okay, we don't actually need these jobs. Let's lay them off, and it kind of sucks to hear. And I guess, do you guys think this kind of relates to like maybe Amazon taking less focus on their Amazon Games initiative with like their MMOs and whatnot?
Yeah, I think Amazon's gonna slowly start getting out of it.
I would think maybe they should stop trying to make the biggest MMO on the planet. I don't know.
Yeah. That's you're asking too much out of
And
them.
I actually love New World a lot. I think New World's a really good MMO.
It'll be
I
interesting to
think
also
so.
see that game that's coming out next year, supposedly that Blue Protocol.
Yeah, that
see
one
how
looks
that
cool.
turns out.
That's Bandai Namco, isn't it? It's like co-developed, or
I
am I
think so.
misremembering?
I'll look it up while you go to the next story.
Yeah. Next story, positive news. This just comes from MBKK over on Twitter. Starting in April 2024, Atlus will be increasing the starting salary for new graduate hires from 257,000 yen to 300,000 yen, and the median average salary for current employees will increase by 15%. Additionally, due to the strength and development of our businesses development of our businesses overseas that began in financial year 2021, we will be paying performance bonuses funded by our profits worldwide. This is extremely good news, especially in Japan, which I know notoriously has very rough working conditions. So I'm happy to see Atlus, everyone on that studio, positive impact all around. And I wanted to bring in almost a wider topic because I feel like you don't hear about layoffs in Japan. Now, granted, this kind of comes from just a cultural divide, so I don't know if I can really comment on it. is there a weird cultural thing where like, oh, layoffs are much more common in the West, or is there like a wider thing like
I'm
Japanese
sure
games are
it's
just
there.
doing
It's just
better
not
over
like
there?
Yeah.
promoted or anything. It's
I
just not
think
talked about.
cultural, but also we've seen. I mean, we've had news stories of tons of Japanese developers increasing base pay. So I do think there is something they're doing that maybe others are not. But it definitely is also a cultural divide.
For sure. The overall good news. Great job, Atlus. Always gotta shout that out.
So follow up. It is being also published and developed by Bandai Namco.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Also, it has the weirdest description right now. Blue Protocol is set in a world spun by overwhelming graphics along the lines of anime movies and incorporates multiplayer action that utilizes the quality of an online game. It runs on Unreal Engine 4.
You just put me in such a bad mood. I'm not excited for that game anymore. Moving on, we got a quick one here. Bandai Namco Studios has announced Studio 2 Studio S. This comes from Source Gaming, a development studio that exists specifically to work on Nintendo games. They've already added Mario Kart 8 DX, Tour, and Smash Ultimate to it retroactively. Interesting,
It
to say
is
the least.
interesting because I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh yeah, Nintendo's gonna buy a Bandai." It's like, no, we'll
That's
just
not
make
going
a
to
team.
happen. Yeah. It very much seems like they want to try to like they want to make Bandai Namco like more of a partner than they already are, and
Like a second party almost.
yeah, exactly. And they already help a lot. Like Smash Ultimate, like that game is developed by Bandai Namco. Like, that game is pretty much a Bandai Namco game, so it's exciting to see.
So it just means that hopefully Nintendo's you're gonna use this like, okay, let's throw out some more like smaller or less used IPs and give them something to work on so we can increase our output. Like we'll have our own teams for making the big stuff like Zeldas and Mario's and whatnot, but it's like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
let's give them F-Zero, let's give them Custom Robo, let's give them other stuff like that.
God bless Custom Robo.
I will always champion Custom Robo.
Moving on. Warner Brothers denies that Wonder Woman will be a live service game after Jobs listing. This comes from Ryan Dinsdale over at IGN. A Monolith Productions jobs listing suggested the upcoming Wonder Woman game will have live service elements, but Warner Brothers is saying that its focus is squarely on single player, as reported by WCC of Tech. Monolith of Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor fame is currently looking for a lead software engineer of gameplay on Wonder Woman and wants the candidate to have experience in helping maintain a live service product or game. What's it called? This comes despite Wonder Woman. Wait, hang on. Okay, there it is. Jeez, they always like in these IGN articles, they're like, we're gonna explain to you what a live service game is. It's like, bro, I'm reading an IGN article. Like, do you think I don't know? Warner Brothers responded with a statement to IGN denying that it will be a live service game. Quote, Wonder Woman is a single player action adventure game set in a dynamic open world. This third person experience will allow players to become Diana of Themyscira and introduce an original story set in the DC universe while also featuring the Nemesis system. Wonder Woman is not being designed as a live service. I just thought this story is so funny because they actually revealed the most we've heard about this Wonder Woman game.
Yeah, like we have
just
literally nothing about
because
this
of a
game
job
until
listing.
now.
Yeah, so exciting. It's, that Nemesis system,
Finally being used again.
they're using it,
Yeah,
guys.
finally, after years.
Yeah, after copywriting it, by the way. God bless.
It's been almost a. When was Shadow of War? 2017.
20.
Yes, 2018.
Yes. No, it was 2017.
2017,
Hang
okay.
on.
It was either
Like
2017 or 2018 because I went to E3 when it was being promoted, and that was 2017.
I say it's been 6 years since we've seen the Nemesis system. Also, it's been 6 years since
2017.
Monolith has made a video game. Is that correct?
Yeah, they haven't made anything. Wait, I feel like they made something
They
in
gotta have
between.
it worked on something. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. You guys
The-
continue
wait,
on.
they're working on God, what's it called? It was something for Xbox. Contraband? I think that's No, that's Avalanche.
Yeah, that's Avalanche.
I always get Monolith and Avalanche confused. I don't know why. They're not even the
Oh yeah,
same.
they
Like
literally
type.
have not worked on anything. It just has 2017
I-
Middle Earth Shadow of War and then
That's
just
insane.
TBA Wonder Woman.
From
'Cause Wonder
apparently
Woman
what we
got announced 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, this was announced in 2021 of the Game Awards. It got
Yeah.
that weird CGI trailer and nobody was excited about. I don't know.
So they've
That
been
Nemesis
doing
system.
nothing, apparently. Well,
It
other
must
than
have
this,
been like
obviously.
the retro kind of scenario where they were probably working on something, and then they got canceled, and now they're working on Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that's kind of my assumption as well. I don't know. I'm excited for it. Well, I'm not excited for it. It's hard to be excited because this is like, but I just found it funny. We got the most details because of a wrong job listing, but yeah.
The Monolith has made some pretty good games, though, and they've been around for like since the 90s, right?
97 with
late
Blood.
90s.
Okay. I would say they made the.
Classic.
I'm pretty sure they made the Fear games.
Did they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm,
Fear and Fear 2.
Yeah, I heard good things about those games. I want to check those out.
So
Oh, they made
it'll be
Gotham City
interesting.
Imposters.
I would haven't heard of that one. But I'm pretty sure the last 3 games were like Middle Earth video games. Like it was
Yeah.
Shadow War, Shadow Mordor, and some other random Middle Earth game.
No.
Yeah, there was
there was Guardians
just
of
those
Middle
two.
Earth, Middle Earth
what?
Shadow of Mordor, and then
Okay.
Middle Earth Shadow of
I
War.
say I thought they made some random Middle Earth game on the PS3.
Yeah, Guardians of Middle Earth.
Okay, yeah, that one.
Man, it's annoying because there's 2 companies called Monolith Soft, like Avalanche, and it's like, guys, one of you have to bite the bullet. One of you just got to say, hey, we're changing our names. Like it's just easier, okay?
Well,
like,
Monolith Productions and Monolith Soft or Software. So.
Yeah, but the problem is I always get them confused. It's like, okay, it reminds me of the Fire Sprite Fire Walk thing with Sony, where it's like one of you got to change your names. It's just this is getting confusing.
Kind of funny has something for it. Fire
Yeah,
Sprite
Fire
because Aloy drinks Sprite. I forget what they said. Fire Sprite made the VR game. Firewalk makes the shooter or something that's supposed to come out.
Fire Sprite because Halo drinks Sprite. Okay, I'll make sure to keep that one in mind.
Yeah, because they made the Call on the Mountain.
Moving on, we got a quickie here. VGC has this. Tom Ivan. Following Sonic movie success, Sega teases Persona and Yakuza adaptations. In an interview with CNBC, Sega Chief Operating Officer Shuji Utami said the company wants to build on the success of Sonic TV outings by adapting some of its other IPs. We just revived Sonic in a big way, not only through games, but also remember movies and TV shows. And actually, Sonic is in Roblox too. And we're working now
learn something
closely
new
with
every day.
Lego. Yeah, really. We have other major IPs, and also I cannot say too much about it, but we are thinking of reviving other IPs too. I just want to put this as a PSA to Sega: use your fucking IPs. You have so many goddamn IPs. How about you actually use them? Because this is getting ridiculous. I don't know. It's weird because it's literally just Sonic, Yakuza, and Persona when it comes to Sega, and I'm like, you have so many more IPs. You might as well like do something with them, but. I mean, when it comes to actual like TV and film adaptations, I know Persona has had quite a few in the past, like Persona 3, 4, and 5 all got anime adaptations in some way. I assume they're probably going to continue that in some way, maybe a Persona spin-off getting an anime. That'd be interesting, like a full-on side story. I am interested to see where they go with Yakuza. I wonder if they would call it a Yakuza or call it like a dragon.
They'd probably
It's
call
tough
it
to
like a
say.
dragon.
That's a yeah. Yakuza is such a good movie title though. It's like I'd go watch like if I'm like a 40-year-old dad who likes action movies and you just see like Yakuza at AMC, it's like fuck, I'll watch that.
Also, I'm just gonna shoot my shot right now. Atlus, I have a spec script for an episode 1 of a Persona 5 live action show. Call me. we'll make a deal.
Atlus, get my man a job.
I need it.
Yeah, very exciting all around. That's all the news. We spent a lot of time on Game Awards. I think it's time we talk about what we've been playing. I'll start because I'm a bad person, everybody.
Yes, you
Super
are.
Mario RPG came out yesterday. Your boy's been playing GTA 3 and Vice City. I played GTA 3. I beat it, got the platinum. Holds up tremendously. The story is not very good, but Claude, silent protagonist, horrible protagonist, but the game is genuinely really fun. And Vice City is just as good as I remember. That game is such a fucking blast to go through. I will say, I do want to use this as a testing bed. I want to talk about Definitive Edition. That game got collection got so much shit when it came out. It was like glitchy, didn't work. I played San Andreas at launch when that came out. It was not the best way. Now playing it, these are the definitive editions. The games actually run really well. There's no real graphical hiccups, no real graphical notches, anything like that. Everything looks really good. Character models are still a little weird, but in regards to everything, they fixed it. And I'm not going to forgive them now. Like, oh man, definitive edition, people were too hard on it. Like, no, they should have gotten shit. That was an absolute dog shit release. But now looking back, it's like, this is actually really good. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Bench, how about you? What have you been playing?
I have been playing Red Dead Redemption 2, which has been going very good. I'm about 15 hours in,
This game.
beginning of chapter 3, and I'm just getting to really know like the gang and kind of we had to move hideouts because of stuff happened. So I'm just
Oh,
enjoying it. I don't want to get into a lot of details about it because I'm honestly I hear 15 hours, but I'm still relatively early in the beginning of chapter 3. So
Yeah,
I'll shift
15
over.
hours is nothing in that game.
I'll shift over to Mario RPG, which I am also playing. And unfortunately, Mario RPG is my Starfield.
That's
It hurts
so.
to say.
Why is everything our Starfield? Why am I the?
No, but Mario RPG, I've been having a good time with it, but people have hyped this game up very crazy, like over the years. I've been hearing how good it is, and I mean, I've 4 hours in, I finally had the full party together, and while I'm having a fun time, it's honestly nothing mind blowing, which overall is just pretty disappointing. Hopefully that changes, but I also hear the game's like 10 to 12 hours, so who knows? That's all I've been
I mean,
playing.
that's interesting. I always heard positive things. I'm excited to check it out when I finally stop playing GTA, which will never happen.
Yeah, when are you gonna
Moon.
stop playing those games?
Yeah, Joe. Moon, what about
You're
you?
an addict. It's a problem.
It's okay. Okay, you tell me. It's like, hey, we made 10 out of 10 games. Wow, you're a bad person for playing these 10 out of 10 games. Like, okay.
You got a point.
Moon, what about you?
Um,
What have you been playing, Moon?
I'm not a whole lot. I actually haven't played any Star Ocean since the last episode. I've been busy with a bunch of other stuff, but Tactica came out, so I started that. I got to like the just past like the tutorial stuff pretty much. Not a whole lot, maybe like 2 hours into it, and that's all I played. But I did also
Not much to
finish.
say on either.
Was that?
Well, not much to say on either of them.
Well, no, I was about to say I also finished Thirsty Suitors because I found out
Oh,
I only had like
gotcha.
2 hours left of that game. So last night I said, you know what, I really want to play Tactica. It's like the first time I've had been able to play a game like almost all week, but I want to finish Thirsty Suitors, and so I did. And it's just Thirsty Suitors is my Starfield.
Why? Why is this a thing?
I don't know, but I'm gonna ride on that train anyway.
Good.
It was it's perfectly fine from a writing and acting standpoint. I do like the story. Um, but just the gameplay is so bare bones. And granted, I'm not a skateboarding person. I don't care about skateboarding, but even I could tell this was a very not interesting skateboarding game. It's a complete side thing too. Like, it was actually really funny that you can skip all the skateboarding challenges part of the story. Like, you don't have to do them. Like, this game will just continue on. Um, and I also found out about halfway through the game, you can go to the option setting, and part of the accessibility options is the QuickTime events. You can either have them have like a much easier time for you to do it, or you can just have them completely done for you. And I said, you know what? I'm over this. I've spent like 6 hours doing these QuickTime events, and that's all the combat is. It's a turn-based RPG game, but all the attacks are turn-based, or not turn-based, but they're also QuickTime events for like to be able to land. So I'm like, I'm tired of doing these QuickTime events. So now they just perfectly do it because you also do in the QuickTime events in the cooking. So every chapter breaks down into pretty much the same formula. You wake up, you talk to your parents, you learn a new recipe, so you cook and do those QuickTime events. You go talk to one of your exes, you fight them or some other character, and then you go back home, fall asleep on the couch, and you wake up the next day. That's the formula for every chapter of this game, and there's 10 chapters. And then the cherry on top of all of this is the last fight of the game against Pati, your grandmother.
With spoilers.
But it doesn't even matter. Like, the game plays itself almost, even if you weren't doing the QuickTime events yourself. Like no matter what you do, if the game is going to continue on, no matter what choices you make. You could actually just not do all the QuickTime events, fail, and as long as you still have continues to use, and if you're playing on easy or an accessibility mode where you can have infinite continues, you're just gonna beat the game no matter what. Like, it just plays itself, which I'm just like, whatever. So I was just kind of over the whole thing. I wanted to get over with, and thankfully it didn't take me longer than 2 hours to finally finish that up. Yeah, so it's kind of low on my rankings right now. Not gonna be getting any praise from me outside of the actors and the writing.
Not enough skateboarding.
No, even skateboarding couldn't save that.
Let's talk about Fusion.
What's
Know
yours,
what you're
Starfield?
gonna say? Oh my god, he's
I'm,
gonna
I'm
say
not.
it.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
No, okay, well you might as well say it.
No, okay, it's not fair because I haven't played enough. I will say I have been playing Cyberpunk 2077 after over a 3-year wait. Like I've been wanting to play this game since launch. Didn't play it because I tried to play it on the base PS5 and it was so atrociously bad that I just couldn't get through it. I
Smart man.
refunded within 30 minutes. I was like, I can't do this. I was like, Sony, please give me this refund. They refunded it. Finally built a PC, and I was like, okay, Cyberpunk, like that's gonna be one of the main games to play on it. Got it with a nice gift from my friend Bench here. Got gifted Phantom Liberty DLC. Right now I'm very indifferent on the game. I'm very much as in the main narrative. The first 5 hours I was super into it because it was more of like it felt very linear in the first 5 hours that I was playing, and like just was like the narrative was working really well, the writing, the characters. Then the game gave me the open world, and the past 3 to 4 hours of me roaming the open world, I'm like, I have lost all motivation to do anything into the open world, which I feel like is not the way your RPG open world video game should work.
Vindication. It feels good.
So maybe
that.
not. Maybe
I'm never
not before.
Fusion again.
You what?
I'm never gifting you a game again.
Wait, I haven't even got to the DLC yet, buddy.
If you ever will.
Okay.
Nah.
It's very it's odd because I just feel like there's things where I'm used to CD Projekt Red having these fleshed out awesome side content and this fleshed out awesome world. Which I know Binks is about to come in and say the Witcher world isn't as good as the Cyberpunk world. Like, shut up! I don't need you here. Mute your mic.
I mean, I'm right.
And this game's just not so far. Like I said, I'm not going hard on this game yet because I'm less than 10 hours in. I think I'm 8 hours and 30 minutes is what my save says. But it's very telling. It upsets me that the moment the world opened up to me, the moment I finally was like past quote unquote tutorial after 5 hours, I have got less impressed with the video game. Like I'm walking around Night City, it just feels like I'm seeing.
It feels dead.
Yes,
That's
it feels
exactly
dead,
what
and I'm seeing
I
a bunch
thought they fixed that in 2.0, but apparently not.
I'm seeing a bunch of NPCs walking around that do nothing. Half of them are children. Half of them are literal children that are dressed in grown adult clothes that I just still don't understand.
It's
to this-
adults scaled down to look like children. That's literally what they
It's
do.
fashion. You don't understand it, Fusion.
I guess I don't understand these kids with mohawks just walking around, just doing what they want to
Clearly,
do.
you've never been in a Walmart if you've never seen a kid with a mohawk.
That's true. He's right.
It's just I'm getting weird vibes, and I'm trying to figure out how I want to attack this game right now because I'm not at the point where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna drop this game yet, but I'm at the point where like I can see a future, and I don't want to go down that future, so I'm trying to find the smart way of like I want to play this game, but not force myself to play it. I'm just trying to balance it out because I think maybe I'm in a weird rut with video games in general, and I feel like this wasn't the type. I don't need a big open world, quote unquote, sandbox right now. Where for one, I'm getting like 100 in-game phone calls nonstop about like, here's this next quest and here's this next. I'm like, I haven't even met these characters yet, and they're just throwing things at me.
Like a Ubisoft game in the regards of just like throwing you quests just for the sake of doing quests, and I'm just like, let me organically find these quests. Let me find these people in the world. Like I think back to GTA 5, The Strangers of Freaks, where you would just like go and see like a question mark and you get these weird fun interactions. I don't really think it. I mean, like that's the thing. Night City, I'm like, man, this just does not feel like a lived-in world, and I was so disappointed because I just want more big city games.
Night City is one of the best characters in video games.
That's to you, man. That's to you.
Yeah, we'll find out. I will say it's very pretty. I mean, I'm very impressed with the lighting. Like the interiors are amazing. Like I feel like the city's at the most life when I'm in an interior somewhere. Like there's so many bars and diners I walk into, and I'm like, wow, this lighting's really good, and there's people getting drinks at the bar.
The aesthetic.
Yeah, and characters are talking. It's just getting from point A to point B, like going from where I'm at to my objective. I feel like that in between is so boring or so like I'm trying to think of. This is gonna sound. I'm trying to think of what that isn't gonna offend everyone here. There's a certain feeling I had in my head when I was playing Breath of the Wild, going from a
No, I don't
spot
care.
to
Go
a
ahead and
spot.
roast that game.
I'm not roasting Breath of the Wild, but there's a certain feeling where I was going from point A to point B in Breath of the Wild, where it was bare. I know why it was bare. That's why I get it. I get why Breath of the Wild did it. But my point is, Night City shouldn't feel like I'm going through Breath of the Wild's bare open fields. Like it should feel like I'm interacting with a city that's breathing and living. And at the same time, there's moments where I'm like, this feels like I'm playing Breath of the Wild in a city, like getting those same vibes that I was getting Breath of the Wild in January of this year. And I'm like, if I'm getting those vibes, this isn't going good.
You should be able to go from point A to point B, and you're driving through the city. You see a hot dog stand, and you want to go check out what's going on there. Or you see like a weird altercation, like a fight going on, and you want to check out what's happening there. Weird, like just cool things happening around the world. Where the world, I guess the best way to say it is, if you're not in the world, if you're not playing the game, then everything is being played. Everything is still happening the same. Even like the Night City is still living and breathing, even if you're not playing.
And the menus and the like, right? It's
You were
bad right now,
bad
but like,
about this.
I'm very upset with the menus, and like I'm playing on PC, so I have switched multiple times from keyboard to controller, because I can't find the sweet spot where I'm like, on controller, I'm going through like 7 different menus. On keyboard, at least I can just press like J for my journal or M for my map. But there's other things on keyboard that doesn't feel as good, like dodging compared to the controller. It's so weird where it's like,
It feels like a game made for PC and mouse.
it feels more comfortable on keyboard. I 100% will agree with that. Which I think tomorrow when I try again, I'm going to go full keyboard and mouse, because I think it does feel better. Because the controller, it's like to get to your journal and your inventory, you have to go through like 7 different menus. Like you're clicking
Sounds like
over and
Starfield.
over and over, and I'm like, dude. Which is it's weird because I've seen a lot of people in the industry lately say Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty in particular, made a lot of people feel more so that Starfield was even more outdated. And there's nothing in Cyberpunk right now where I'm like, this feels like if Starfield has worse like menus and like the world feels less dead than Cyberpunk, then that's crazy. Like I would despise Starfield at this point.
Yeah, no. One thing I'm so interested and excited to hear your thoughts on are the RPG mechanics. I know Bench was high on them. I know Bop was down on them. I was also down on them. Like I know you're early on. Like any thoughts on that regard? Like just as an RPG with the dialogue and whatnot.
Right now, I haven't really had to make choices in the narrative. Like there hasn't been a point where I'm like, I don't know if there is. Like I don't know if there's like, I assume there's choices I'm going to have to actually make. But right now there hasn't been. I think that like, I'm doing like I do in every game. I'm going through the entire dialogue tree before I move on. You know what I mean? Like going through all the options before you click the final one that you know is the last option. The level up system is a little odd right now. I feel like I'm leveling up in half my point. Like, I don't know. I just feel overwhelmed, to be truthfully honest, with everything they throw at you. And I don't think I fully have grasped all the systems yet to say, like, which is why I'm not hating on the game, because I think I'm just too early. I still think I need to get like at least 7 more hours. I think I need to hit the 15-hour mark and see where I'm at.
That's what I said about Starfield. That's what I said. It's
like I feel like
word
I'm way
for
too
word.
early. But I'm like,
I hope you break through it. I hope.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, dude, I could just be a cowboy in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Let's go, Rockstar.
And I'm thinking this might be a me issue, and it's a big. I'm getting like you guys know, it's usually the frame rate, but I struggle sometimes with motion sickness in first-person shooters.
Oh yeah.
And I'm getting that a decent amount with Cyberpunk, and I'm starting to just realize maybe I'm not a huge fan of just first-person games. Like I just prefer the third person. I just feel like
I understand that.
Like the third person, normal, over the shoulder, what we've come to experience. Like I'm worried about
that, Dad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I was thinking more like the Witcher styles and all that. But like, I just feel like I'm more like first person doesn't. It feel like it less immerses me, and it gives me a headache more often than not. Like for whatever reason, that's a me issue. That's just how my brain.
A lot of people are like that. Yeah, that's not an uncommon opinion.
And like the combat hasn't.
Doom then.
No, it's usually like
you, buddy.
Shooters like that are fine. Like I play Call of Duty. Granted, it's not the same.
you'll be fine with Doom because like they do such a good job of like making that game like feel good. Like just the FPS is
I was
insane.
saying, and there's a difference between like first-person shooter and first-person RPG that has shooting. You know, I'm trying to explain where it's like
Exploration, where you're
yes,
doing a
like
lot more talking and
I'm
whatnot.
exploring in first person. I'm doing all this in first person. Like I'm looting in first person. It's all just like I'm driving in first person. Granted, there's a third person option. It's all just extra compared to like a Doom shooter campaign or a Call of Duty shooter campaign. I've never had issues with shooter
But you
campaigns
think
like
it's
that.
interesting that you think you would, because being a more actiony game where you're constantly moving, like a Doom or a Call of Duty, you would get more of the motion sickness than just an RPG where you're just kind of walking around and doing stuff.
I think
Yeah,
it's that
it is.
immersive quality. Like you kind of feel semi more immersed in a game like Cyberpunk versus Call of Duty.
Yeah, I like I said, I cannot explain it. There's probably some science behind it, but it's very like that's. I'm hoping I can. I would at the very least, I'm going to do what I never do in video games, and I would like to at least beat the story and Phantom Liberty of this game. I'm
Damn,
hoping
mainliner.
I'm hoping that's not what I do, but I'm hoping like maybe if I push the story a little bit longer, like if I go 5 more hours just doing the story, something will click and I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna start adding in some side content. Because today, I don't know if you guys do this with your open world games, where there's certain days where you just sit down and you're like, I just want to do the open world. Like I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna do
Oh
the side
yeah,
content.
all the
That was
time.
my plan today. I was like, I'm gonna get
That
on
was
for
me
3
with
hours.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that was my plan today. For 3 hours, I sat down and I was like, I'm gonna do the side content and just explore the city. And it just was not doing it
Nope.
for me. I was like, I don't. I was like doing some side quests where I'm like, these side quests aren't hitting like I feel like they should be hitting, and I haven't ran into a single world event that has been entertaining, and it just really soured my mood today. And I was like, I just didn't like what happened today. So I'm like,
Bro
maybe
was
I
in a
just need a
sad mood.
refresh.
Now,
I was like, maybe I need a refresh.
one of the biggest things with Cyberpunk for me was just like the immersive quality. Like you talked about, it's like, man, maybe I really want to be a cowboy, like kind of as a joking way, but like that's something Rockstar always did a good job of for me, was immersing me in that world, making me feel like I was part of that world. Be like just joining in the middle of this world that it's already lived in. And Cyberpunk just didn't do that for me. Where I tried to immerse myself, I tried to kind of have like a routine when I first played, like go to the beach, go to the park, like do that type of stuff, and it just didn't work for me because the game just didn't feel like it wanted me to feel immersed. There wasn't enough to be immersed in where I wanted to live in this world. I was kind of just like, it's really nice setting, it's a nice backdrop, but it's not a world I'd want to like explore.
Yeah, and I don't know, and there's a lot of stuff in the world that's like I'm gonna come back to the children. I don't know why it's checking me so much, but it's just not doing it for me. And there's a lot of like I'll just be sitting there on the sidewalk, and next thing you know, a car runs me over, or like an entire crash will happen. And I get Night City's not a great spot. It's not some crime-free place, but I feel like I can't tell if this is the game trying to give you natural like car crashes or like random shootouts. Like I understand that happens. That happens in like GTA and stuff, but it feels very off in this game compared to a GTA. Like it feels normal in GTA. For me, so far, it doesn't. The natural stuff that happened in Night City does not feel natural and organic. It feels very forced and very like it threw me out of the immersion. Like I'm watching like cars explode on the road. I'm like, this doesn't
Yeah.
feel right. Like this,
Well,
I don't know.
the difference with like, because like in GTA, and we're making so many comparisons to GTA, but like that's kind of the next big like city game in regards to that scale. But like GTA 5, I feel like 90% of cars are like working normally. They're like following street laws, like all that stuff. And you just see that one guy who's like speeding or like kind of cutting through traffic, and that kind of adds to just making the world feel lived in, where it's like, oh shit, what's that guy's deal, like what's his story, is he late for work, like again, just adding to that immersive quality. And I feel like with Cyberpunk, it's weird because it's like most people are driving normally, and then just a car explodes and nobody is saying anything. It's like, oh, that's that's a little strange.
Yeah, it's very odd. Or people will just start screaming and running away from like random gunfire. I'm like, I have no idea what's happening right now, but like random people are just dying in the street, I guess. And like I walk over there, I might have a gun engagement, nothing else happens. There's no reward. Like I'll usually get like some plus. I'll get XP obviously, but there's no like nothing from whatever this world event just happened benefited me at all. I'm like, this did nothing for me.
I hope this game hits better for you, Fusion, because I don't want this to be your Starfield. Apparently, that's just what we're calling it now.
Yeah, let's hope not. Like I said, the first 5 hours I was very strong like on it. Like I was but I've heard multiple people tell me that the strongest part of Cyberpunk is the narrative and is like the main writing, and like so I'm like, it doesn't hurt me if I'm like, if at the end of the day I don't mess around that much with the side stuff and the world content, because maybe maybe the narrative is just good enough where it's like that can get me through the game.
It almost feels like they were forced into making it open world because it's like, oh, they were, Witcher 3 was an open world. Like, Witcher 3 was their first open world game. And like that got so much praise that's like, oh, of course Cyberpunk has to be open world. But it's like before that, like Witcher 1 and 2 are linear games. So it was kind of that thing where like maybe CD Projekt Red is more suited to making linear, focused experiences.
And it's I'm telling that first 5 hours I really thought was like, I thought it was like, it was on the rails, pretty linear, and I was like, this is really good. Like this feels like I low key was hoping the entire time. I'm like, give me this for the next 25 hours. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's it. Well, that's funny because like when you were saying how much you loved the first 5 hours, I was kind of like, "Just gonna love this game," because that guy was kind of like lukewarm on the first 5 hours. So hearing this is like, man, now I'm really interested to see what your thoughts are, like moving on.
We'll check back in a week. I like 180. I absolutely love it.
No, this game's actually a masterpiece, guys. Holy shit!
like I said, it could be. I've been in a rut with games lately. Alan Wake 2 brought me out of it a little bit, but it could just be one of those games where it's good game, bad timing. Like one of those things where it's just like, it just wasn't the right time. I'm gonna try to push through. I might play a game on the side, like a small, like maybe indie or
Oh,
something,
please,
just to
yeah, do
balance it.
that. No, dude, that's actually like an amazing idea. Because usually, if I'm playing like a big game, like Baldur's Gate 3, I'm playing the GTA games because I'm taking a break from it. I need something like, okay, I need something like I could shoot stuff in.
Yeah.
So I recommend something like small, fun indie game like Dave the Diver. Play that. You have that.
So, yeah, I got some options. I'm like, maybe I'll do that alongside, just so I don't want to force myself to hate the video game, because
Exactly.
no one's
Yeah,
going
that's
to
the last
like,
thing
that's
you
how
want.
you don't have fun, and that's how you like, you take all the critically like analysis out of it, and you just like use your monkey brain, say bad video game, and move on. Like,
Exactly. God bless. God bless. I think that's
but yeah,
everything.
that's all. Yep, that's
Yeah.
all my Cyberpunk rant. So
Hey, at least you weren't as passionate as me with Starfield.
no, like
So
I think I'm hoping I end up on a good note with it. I'm just, like I said, it's just it wasn't a good day today with the video game.
in the video game, I hope you had a good.
Oh yeah,
Moving.
it was an okay day.
I think, man, we're ready for some outros.
Yeah, we need to get out of here. It's been a little too long now. Thanks, Game Awards. Anyway, hope you all guys enjoyed our predictions. We'll definitely be going over the winners on another very long episode whenever that's done. And just special treat for all the people who made it to the end of this episode. I think with the TGA nominations here, we can also do a soft announcement for our own award show that we will be doing at the end of the year. So get excited for that. So hope you all enjoyed this episode. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on all of our various platforms, and we will see you all next week for hopefully more gaming news hijinks. Say goodnight, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.